Welcome everybody.
Hey everybody.
My name is Erik.
I'm Peter.
And today we're going to talk about something different. I mean, It's not going to be hardware, we're going to talk about software. Surprise!
Well, of course, there's always hardware involved, guys.
True.
Don't worry.
Yeah. We're going to bench the hardware against the software. Something like that.
Something like that, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like the hardware Olympics. Or, no,
Hi everybody. See a lot of people in the chat already.
Yes.
Yeah, so long time ago, or Msi issue in Taiwan, they said, hey, we might do a bundle with Norton. And we're like, okay, we don't like antivirus software. So if you're a little bit older, like me, Peter, can I count you also?
Feeling old, like me?
Yeah, no, but I mean,
yeah.
I think the kids from today, they don't know what antivirus software is.
Well, maybe like 10, 20 years ago, it was really a thing, and pretty much every PC had it because Windows had very limited.
They still have it, but it's built into Windows.
Exactly, the Windows antivirus back then was either pretty much non-existent or it was so light that it didn't really cut it.
Yeah,
so you really needed, for that extra protection, you really needed additional antivirus, yeah. It was very common.
So I would like to know from the chat, I mean, do you use antivirus? Which one?
Yeah.
And did you ever, I mean, I think everybody had like some negative experience with, not with antivirus software, but probably also, but
with viruses.
With the viruses or malware. I mean, it's getting worse. And that's also what we're going to talk today about the threat, we have a bundle with, actually it's a free trial for 60 days with Norton 360 for gamers. So, and when we hear for gamers, I was directly triggered because, as a gamer, I want performance. Yeah. I don't want bloatware, I don't want things which slows me down, I don't want extra servers on the background, but at the same time, I mean, you need to protect your system because your identity, it's not only your identity, your credentials, your account indeed, and Norton takes that one step further. I mean, they're also talking about your gaming account. Later we will go in much more detail also when Ben from Norton, Norton
Erik,
USA will join.
Before the chat moves on, you asked, they answered, Avast, Norton 360 Premium, Avast, Windows, just Windows antivirus, McAfee turned me off, Avira. So yeah, I mean there's a lot of different programs, and I mean it's good to see that there's a lot of different people using very different antivirus software as well. So it's not like everybody uses the same thing apparently. It's also interested to know how did you, maybe the guys and girls who answered right now already, what got you to use and settle on your current version of, or your current choice of antivirus? So whether that's the one built into Windows, Defender, or it's McAfee, Norton, Avira,
Zone
AVG.
Alarm, yeah, I remember
Zone
that
Alarm,
one.
yeah, there's a lot of different names coming past.
Free piece of software, I mean there was a free version I also used for some time.
Exactly. Or did you do a lot of research and that's the one that you settled on because it turned out to be the best for you, or you had the best experiences with it?
Anyway, so today we're going to we're going to check a little bit about the viruses and then how that works, and pretty scary stuff over there. We're going to talk about our bundle, our 60-day. What is it? 60-day trial period. So you need to register, etc.
Actually, 90.
Sorry, 90.
90 days, right?
Cool. 90 indeed.
Yes.
So 3 months, about 3 months. We're going to benchmark it. So we have a test system here. I tried to, this was already a problem in MSI to get slow hardware because I didn't want to take the brand new hardware. So I asked Ja, do you have something old for me? A Core i5. He said, yeah, take this 10th generation. Okay.
Yeah.
10th generation, I took it, and then I noticed this 10700K. No, not K. I mean 10700 CPU. And then, but you also had an i5. Yeah, I have one, but it's 11th gen. So I took the benchmarks, and I mean, performance difference is almost not there. But anyway, so this is
I guess what Erik is trying to say is we try to make a system that's a little bit more, likely to be what you have at home, or what
my system at home. Actually, this is way faster, but I'm upgrading soon.
Yeah, so it's about what the average gamer should have about. So it's not about taking the fastest hardware and then seeing, all right, how does this impact performance? Because obviously, the faster your hardware to begin with, the smaller the impact. At least that's what you'd expect. So we want to make sure that, okay, what if we take a more midstream PC and see how that impacts? And so Eric is going to do some benchmarks live during the stream.
Oh, Ayan has some spelling mistake. Traal. Yeah, that's my
Trail.
English probably. Yeah. Anyway.
Eric's mad typing skills.
Yeah, indeed.
With the emphasis on mad.
Actually, it's Peter's checking skills. Hey, Peter, is this okay?
What, did you ask me to check?
Yeah, and you corrected something.
All right.
Anyway, yeah. So, I mean, it's not only a virus. It's also people trying to get information from you. I recently, I'm really careful in my mailbox. I don't click on links if I didn't ask you to send me an email.
And you don't recognize it?
Well, yeah, small chance I open it and I don't click on links. And on Facebook they now advertise and there was a free PS5 giveaway from a big store in Holland, Media Market, maybe you know it, also in Germany. Yeah. And, I scrolled past it, nothing, and hey, why not? Try. And I clicked on it and then I already found like 3 different websites and I started filling information like, okay, your name, your address, and like 3 different interfaces. I already like a little bit cautious, but then it also started asking me about what utilities supplier do you have? And then I was like, oh my God, damn, they tricked me.
Why do you need to know that?
Yeah, indeed. So it's just gathering information. Yeah. And also on social media, you see this a lot, like, what is your favorite pet? I mean, if you answer that, well, one of the questions in security in your Windows or to the
statistically, it's one of those, what was the name of your first pet? Or what's your mother's maiden name? Or stuff like that. I mean,
don't fall for that. It's just gathering information. Yeah. And they build up a big database. And the more they have, the more likely you're next.
You see that in movies sometimes, right? Like what was it? Now You See Me. I think that's one of the, like they mind trick. They have like this casual conversation.
Oh yeah.
Asking some guy about, didn't you have a pet? Asking these seemingly random questions, just trying to lighten the mood. And then in the end, it turns out they were just trying to gather information so they could actually hack his account and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Oh, Sticky UK 69. I'm sorry. He's a bit deaf, so he's watching with subtitles. And
Eric, you have to articulate.
Yes, my English sucks. My English sucks. I hope this is in capitals. So the subtitle engine from Google or from YouTube will have big problems.
It's especially because of the accent, because we're Dutch.
I'm sorry for that.
And so Eric has a little bit more of an accent. I'm starting to have one. I used to have less of it, but... And so but they are hilarious. So it's probably I would just say enjoy it, have fun, and make sure you train up your abdominal muscles while laughing. So it's all good.
Indeed. Okay, so Peter, let's maybe switch to the capture.
Let's do that.
This is the capture. Yeah. Okay. So this is from a website avtest.org, and it shows you in the last what is it? 2008 to 2020, 2021.
It's a long time.
A long time period, the amounts of malware and PUA, potential unwanted application. Yeah, well, actually, different name for virus or Trojan or something.
Something installing which you did not ask for or did not intentionally
Can you
execute.
Speak Spanish? Ooh, that's a long time ago. Yo hablo un poco español para
no hablo?
Estudio para 3 semanas in Santo Domingo. Very bad.
Anyway, next, everybody's going to try and get us to say something in their native tongue.
So let's
just stick to English for now.
And you see, in like 2014, 2013, let's say the potential unwanted application was a thing, but now that's totally gone. And it's mostly malware. And what is that actually doing? I mean, you have different types. It's basically trying to get access to your system. And there are different levels of getting access to your system. It means it's getting your information. It's getting your credential. It can also be a keylogger. It can take over your system. Peter was telling me this morning, Peter, what was it with the with the keyboard?
Yeah, I mean, there were these stories where, yes, there are very advanced algorithms like this that can hack your PC or whatever, but sometimes it's even as simple as, in some companies I heard that there was a guy who infiltrated, and it's more like CIA or, FBI type stuff, but they infiltrated the company by, being a janitor or being hired as a janitor, and they would just, in the morning, they would either visit desks, and some people just have passwords hanging around on little Post-its, or they could swap out things like their keyboard with an identical version, but that one just had a keylogger built into it, the one that they swapped it with. So
yeah, but that's like CIA level stuff, right?
Exactly. That's not likely to happen in your home gaming setup. I guess.
But there's also something like this. There's a USB key. I mean, just drop it on the street or in a store. People will pick it up and they think, "Ooh, I have something free," and they're always.
Yep.
They always watch.
I think Dutch people are disproportionately hit by that because they are much more attracted to free stuff. Being a Dutch person, I think I'm allowed to say that.
True that. Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, that's always a bad idea.
I used a
don't do that.
keylogger on my own system once to catch my girlfriend cheating.
But cheating in a game, I hope?
Yeah, let's.
Because the other definition of cheating, I guess, is way more painful.
Yeah. So basically, it's getting bigger, and our life is getting more digital. So it's logical. I mean, it's not only Windows; it's the mobile phones.
Yep.
I'm going to.
It's the Internet of Things, right? Like pretty much everything. Like your fridge can be connected to the internet these days, or your Google or Siri, whatever, or Amazon speaker. And you no idea who's listening in.
I think you can see this on the screen, right? Let me make this a bit bigger. Yeah, so I was talking about this. So the number of malware is getting bigger. If we're then going to look into malware, the growth.
So if you guys, by the way, if you guys want to know more about this information, you can always go to this website yourself, avtest.org, and you can just pretty much look at all this information to your heart's content.
And you see the biggest risk is on Windows. I mean, you always hear people saying on Mac we don't have these issues. Well, I mean, yes, it's a very small portion, but it's interesting.
Can you shift the whole thing a little bit more to the left?
To the left.
To your left.
Like to you, to me.
To me, because you're blocking exactly the
this
a
left.
little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of.
So
anyway.
Indeed, here you see the index. So yellow is Mac OS.
That's what you're blocking.
Green is Linux.
Yeah.
I mean, the more systems are used, the more interesting it's to target them. Android. We don't have anything for iPhone, but yeah, you also from time to time you hear that in the App Store, in the iOS store, there are also like a few hundred apps removed because they did things which are not allowed. Apple's pretty strict on that. Android is getting stricter with the Google. Let's say Google is getting more strict on that, but still the threat is there. And the biggest portion is of course Windows.
Yeah.
If we're then going to look into the statistics, then you see. Can you see this?
Yeah, just move it. Move the whole thing to the no, not yeah. Okay, no, actually, resize. That's weird. Just move the whole thing.
Yes,
like that.
Yes.
That should work.
So the biggest part are Trojans, red, and then backdoors is the second threat, and then you have worms. Well, basically, most of the times these things come together because it's I remember, I don't know the name of that one, but there was a worm going around on the internet. And once you connected your Windows PC without the patches to the internet, it was like it was infected within 10 minutes.
Yeah, they did test with this, right? Like, how long does it take for a PC, and how real is this threat?
Yeah,
and indeed, it was just connecting your PC, your freshly installed PC, without any antivirus, also Windows Defender turned off, I guess, and just connecting it to get some updates or something, to get the latest updates. That's it, and it just. Those things are almost automatic because it then has so many backdoors still, and there are a lot of programs that are just scanning for these backdoors entries, basically. And yeah, it's not really targeted at you. So it's not like, a lot of people I also talk to and they say, well, who cares? I'm a nobody, so nobody's trying to get my credentials, whatever. That's really not how this works for most of these programs, because they are just like automatically, unleashed onto pretty much every system that they can. And they're just looking for weaknesses. And so it's really more like if you leave the door open, it will probably, there's a huge chance it will get in sooner or later.
Yeah, there was actually also a period where those Yeah, you know, a lot of media is calling them hackers. Hackers got in, but actually they got infected by like malware or some other application or worm. So I don't want to call that hackers. Anyway, you know, nowadays the companies get affected and the whole network and all the backups, all the information gets encrypted, and those the bad guys, or whatever you want to call them, the criminals, they're asking a certain amount of bitcoins or whatever crypto, and then they will release the
ransomware
data back to you.
Ransomware.
Ransomware indeed. So this is now a thing, but a few years ago, now they're targeting companies. A few years ago, they were targeting individuals. So now they found out, hey, you know, this individual doesn't have 1 million euro or US dollar. I go for the big companies, and if I'm in, then, you know, I try to get as much money as I can. And it seems that those criminals are pretty honest. If you pay, you get your data back, but you need to make sure you don't have to pay. And that, you know, comes with protection like antivirus software, but also good backups, on cold storage, separated from your network. Yeah. So, yes, it's targeting everybody, and those Trojans, those viruses, malware is getting smarter. It's getting more complicated. Yeah. Let me see.
Well, it's always like a cat and mouse game, I guess, right? If we get to talk to Norton, they will probably say the same, because there is no, you know, a lot of people I also talk to are saying, you know, well, I never do anything fishy on my system, so.
Hey, fishy, that's a good bridge to this
one. I shouldn't, you know, I shouldn't be at any risk. It really doesn't work like that, and because it's always a cat and mouse game. There's always weaknesses that can be found as long as you're prodding at something, and so it's just the companies like, for example, Microsoft, that will try to patch these weaknesses and backdoors as fast as possible, but they are always pretty much one step behind.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were talking about fishy things and phishing.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I was reading the chat. Phishing, indeed. This is one of the
most common, I think.
Most popular ways how to infect people by email. Especially elder people, you know, they don't know. They get an email which looks from the bank or looks like it's from the provider. They click on the link, and you know, maybe even they log in to the bank to.
I was going to say, this doesn't even. I'm not even sure this is, you know, hacking or something. This is just, you know, getting you to enter your data under false pretenses.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, be really careful with reading email and clicking, especially clicking on links. I mean, if you click on it, even if it's if you're not protected well, you probably are infected. Yeah, and here, this is from Norton, some signs of email phishing. So they always address you personally, they always make it urgent. There is always a link urging you to click on it. Like in this example, to retain your account. Like, if you don't do this now, bye-bye. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people who are technically challenged, most people, you know, they probably click on this.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know,
my grandmother is all.
I was going to say, usually it's older people because they didn't grow up with, you know, the internet, and even for us, it's probably, you know, at some point we're also going to be, you know, at a certain age that we don't understand several things, and it's just difficult for those people to really understand the difference. They're used to, if they get a letter, then it's official, you know, if it's written, if it's physical, and they are told, hey, you know, email is now pretty much replacing a letter. All right, well, if I then receive an email that looks like and claims it's from my bank, then it must be, right? Because they don't really understand that, you know, people are being tricky and trying to scam them in that way, so yeah.
So some questions in the chat. Twilight Star, does Msi use Norton to protect the servers in Taiwan or something in-house? To be honest, I don't know. Secondly, if I knew, I was not going to tell you, because then you know what to target.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, but this is already, I mean, we didn't talk about this. Social engineering. That's already, what a lot of hackers and a lot of criminals use, you know, to get information.
That's what we were talking about at the start, right? Seemingly innocent questions like, oh, didn't you have a pet? And what was its name? Blah, 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 blah. Those kinds of things are bound to be like a secret question to you know, get a password
or like
somewhere.
Call an office and say, hey, I'm this and this person. I urgently need access to my email, but I lost my password. Can you help me? Can you reset it? Can you send it to this email address?
Yeah, I think you got somebody emailing somebody within the office not long ago, right? That was saying, oh, by the way, can you change my bank account, for my salary? Just put it there.
Maybe one of our viewers.
I don't know, but it was pretty freaky.
Yeah, it was indeed somebody emailing our HR department asking, and it was he didn't email me, of course. He emailed our HR department asking them, can you please change my bank account for my salary, and can you please do it before
end of the month or something, before the next payment round.
Before the next payment round, indeed. So it's on my new bank account. Yeah. And the HR guy was awake, so he CC'd me in the email. Yeah. I said, hey, this is not me. This is not my email address, and it's just somebody who labeled an external email as being me, pretending to be me.
But it can be as simple as that. So if somebody's not paying close attention to the email address it's being sent from or something, because other than that, it looked pretty convincing.
Yeah, and it even went further than that, because we have an internal system to manage all the salaries and your days off, HR portal. Yeah. And HR told the guy, please do that via the portal. And then, this guy was saying, hey, I cannot access it, or can you help me with it? These kind of things, that's all social engineering. Yeah. Well, he didn't know I was here on a $1 salary, just as a
You're doing this for fun, not for a living?
For fun. So, anyway.
Joke's on him, or her.
Yeah, well, he didn't succeed.
All right.
Twilight Zone, most malware is coming from the
this is actually
USA.
coming up soon, and most malware. That's
actually,
I don't know.
Is
that one of the next ones? Okay. Because indeed, on this website, you can actually see some of these things. Some of these statistics of where is, and this is the origin of spam mails, for example.
Well, and spam is actually the beginning of malware. They spam around. So this is only showing you the malicious spam, meaning with false intent. That's the right translation, right, Peter? Yeah. Okay. So, USA is top. So, who was it in the chat?
It was Twilight Star. It said, you read it a while back, and
according to this, it's correct.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think secondly, it is Germany and Russia, and then China. Hey, are we listed? Holland.
Brazil.
Hey, Holland.
Yeah. Oh.
We're good in everything.
I think it's because, and I don't know how this works exactly, but I guess it's because, if there's major network hubs, then it's probably going to be more used for this kind of purpose.
Yes, that's what we, Holland has a huge...
for Europe, for Western Europe.
Internet infrastructure, so all the sea cables are coming from the USA to Europe via UK, and then in Amsterdam, you have a big internet exchange over there. So... you have a lot of fast servers here for affordable amounts. So a lot of those criminals are using servers in Holland to collect the data. For example, if a ransomware, they encrypt all the data, they also take it to their server. And then they use a server, for example, in Holland or other countries. But recently we saw one ransomware attack where they use servers in Holland. And then the police is taking them offline, and it's cat and mouse.
Yeah. Oh, and another indeed, 1JK was saying, I've had phone calls where they claim my internet is going to be shut off due to a fault, and they needed to have access to my computer to sort out the problem. Yeah. Kept them on the phone playing dumb and got called some not very nice names for wasting their time. Yeah. So this is another way that they can do it. It's like phone scammers, right? You can have the
Microsoft help desk.
Exactly, the Microsoft tech support guys and stuff like that. There's a whole lot of ways that people get, scammed or duped into doing things that will ultimately either cause damage or cost them money. So always be aware.
Yeah, and then something which I saw. Let me make this full screen. This was, I think, a few weeks ago in the news. Pegasus, which was talking about zero-click attacks. Actually, it's behind the logo.
Can you move the mouse to the bottom right to avoid the there you go.
On me?
Yes,
behind me?
Yes, yeah.
It's hiding. Anyway, this is pretty scary stuff. It basically means that each device has 0-day exploits, meaning that just discovered exploits, meaning
they were not able to be patched yet.
They are still not patched indeed, and they exploit means a way to get in your system.
Backdoor, for example.
Indeed, it can be an error, buffer overflow, can be everything. Yeah. But basically, Pegasus software is using this to get into your phone without that you have to click anything. So
up until now, we've mentioned things where either people send you a link or something and you have to click it, and then or like an app, you
download a file.
Exactly,
or you, click on the link.
You have to execute something, and that's what makes you, or you have to provide your information on a false website. This is a method that doesn't even require you to do anything. It just has to happen, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. You get a phone call, you don't pick up, you ignore it, you're affected. Yeah. You get an SMS or a text message, you open it. Oh, sorry, you don't have to open it, so you don't touch it, you're infected.
Exactly.
So
doesn't even require any action from your side, which is even more scary, I guess.
Yeah, and then recently a lot of journalists, a lot of like country leaders, they got infected, or I don't want to say infected, but they got maybe infected with this attack, and then of course the software, the backdoor or the spyware, whatever you want to call it, it can do everything with your phone. It can record conversations, it can watch real time with your camera. It can steal your credentials, everything what you do on your phone.
Key logging, passwords, anything.
So this is pretty scary stuff. Yeah. To be honest, I'm not saying, because Norton also works on mobile, I'm not saying Norton can stop this. I guess not, but later we can ask Ben from Norton as well. But because we're talking about security, and we're not experts on security, we're just here to benchmark this stuff. I saw this and I think, let's talk about this, because this is...
Indeed, I mean, Master Docs, can antivirus software catch this if it's a new exploit? No. But to be fair, most companies, be it Microsoft, for OS or Android, Google, they are trying to catch these things, of course, very, very quickly, as soon as they can.
Peter, there is one...
And companies like Norton, for example, or antivirus, companies, they are more active and proactive in trying to find these things as well, of course, and co-working with these companies. So, I mean, this all hopefully shortens the time or the window that programs like this have to exploit any potential weaknesses. But
there is a antivirus package which can catch this, and it's called Nokia. I mean, it's so old.
I was going to say, like the 311, or what is it?
Yeah, so, I mean, you see a lot of those country leaders using those old phones, not the smartphones, but the old phones. Yeah. Because they're not smart, so you cannot do email on them or browse on them.
Yeah. Well, they can still get text messages, so I'm not sure if they are immune to this, but Anyway,
let's talk about this campaign. I don't have to click on the link. I can show you this here. This one.
Just go to msi.com to show how you can get there.
Oh yeah, that's okay. But that's pretty simple.
Because Eric mentioned before as well that we have you can say bundle, but it's more like a little bit of a cooperation with Norton.
So if you go to what's new on msi.com, showcase, and then you find this here.
Protection Detection True Battle Station.
So it's a Protection Detection True Battle Station. Yes. Not sure who came up with the slogan. Get a free 90-day trial. Not what I wrote.
It's spelled correctly.
Yeah, indeed. So it's talking a little bit about the features. Let's maybe watch this movie, Peter.
You want to do that now?
Why not? I mean, I don't know if
you have to unmute the sound though.
And do we have sound working?
I can, but you have to unmute it in the video itself.
It's unmuted.
No, it wasn't. Is it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Then
gaming across dozens of accounts, all of your inventory is filled with valuable in-game items and personal information, and yet you're just a side quest in the campaign of cyber criminals who have stolen over 13 billion records in recent years. Norton 360 for Gamers is the protection you need for your PC, game accounts, and digital assets. Dark web monitoring that notifies you if your gamer tag is discovered on the dark web. A no-log VPN to help prevent DDoS attacks or doxing. PC notification optimization. Keep your eyes on the prize. You won't be bothered while gaming. PC Safe Cam. Always know what's accessing your webcam. Cyber criminals had better be ready for the hardest match of their lives.
I didn't hear it. But basically talking about all the different features. So if you go to the page, all the features are listed here. Later we're going to talk with Norton about that. But I just want to highlight here how you can join this 90-day free trial. Go to Msi Reward Center, and that is this page. Basically, it used to be register.msi.com. If you buy an MSI product, you can register your product at MSI, and with that you can also have support online or get an RMA number in case you need. And we are also running a program where you can get points, and with collecting these points you can get some stuff.
Merrick is asking, Norton has VPN now? Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised. If you haven't looked at Antivirus in a long time, you will see that they have branched out enormously to provide a more full package.
Actually, I mean, like I said, we talked like some time ago about doing this, and I was like, okay, sounds interesting. And then when I saw it, and also when Ruud, he did some benchmarks for me, when he saw the software, he said, whoa, they made good improvements. I mean, we're not saying it's perfect, that is for you to judge, and maybe that's why we have this trial. But yeah, it came a long way. I mean, maybe they listened good to the audience. And
well,
is this the best
they kind of
VPN?
have to as well, right? Because I mean, it's not just, especially if you're going to sell security, or at least provide a security product. If you're only looking at one aspect, you are leaving a lot of things unlooked at or unmanaged. So in order to provide better security, you kind of have to provide a more complete package. VPN is also something that I think more and more people are using. So yeah, it kind of makes sense. And it's also just to add a little bit more utility to the whole package.
Yeah. So there are several tiers for things what you can get. You can look at this in your own time. Well, this is maybe your own time. Anyway, after the stream. Earn. This is how to get points. So you can submit a review, and this is at, for example, new egg. You can give like 5 eggs or 1 egg or 0 eggs. We don't care what you do. Just give your honest opinion.
Yeah.
Peter, you said if it's like 5 stars, you get. What was it?
You get more points? No, that's not. I mean, that's a joke, obviously. But no, the system doesn't discriminate based on your rating. If you really dislike something about our product,
be honest.
I mean, actually, that's also fine.
Yeah, our product managers are also checking the feedback on like the bigger websites. They cannot check the local reseller, but like Amazon Newegg, this feedback is really valuable for us. Sometimes it's an issue and bug which we can fix in our BIOS or something. And some things we need to take to the next generation and learn from it. So really important to give your honest feedback.
Yeah.
Product registration, you get points for that. And actually that I think is on this page. Yeah, so here, depending on the product, you get different amounts of points. So a modern, what is this? A laptop, modern laptop, you get 60 points. A GL laptop, you get 50 points, etc.
Yeah. And that's just for product registration?
Yeah, and then your birthday, you get some points. You also some service where you want your opinion.
Yeah.
Don't give too much information if we ask for it. No, we would never do that. Rewards, things, I'm not sure, it changes always. So Monster Hunter, you can get for 1,000 points. Green Man Gaming, to be honest, I don't know what
it's a platform, you can buy games there.
Okay, it's like Steam, etc. So Steam vouchers.
Like it's like a shop.
Special edition mystery box. Peter, is this a 3090?
I have no idea.
Limited to 50 packs.
I don't know what's in there.
Yeah.
That's why it's a mystery box.
Voucher sweepstakes. So 10 points you can participate to
Mr.
win
Mastodog's already mentioned this. Do not forget to mention the sweepstakes.
I don't see that in the chat anyway. Anyway, so a lot of sweepstakes.
Yeah.
This is like gambling to get rid of your points, or what is this?
No, it's just, if you don't, or if you already have all the rest, and you don't really care about it, or you simply feel lucky and you think, for 10 points, because it doesn't cost that many points. You think, for 10 points you get that just, registering a product, you get like 50, 60 points or something. So you
to be honest,
just say,
I don't know
you know what, we're gonna chance
this changes and how many actions we have, because this probably is 1, this is probably also 1.
I don't know.
Anyway, I mean, and by registering here, and then you get some points, and then you can also download the software. So that's what we're going to do right now. We are going to benchmark, and before we benchmark. First, I mean, this is I don't want to say it's a clean install, we used it, but yeah, it's pretty basic install of Windows. So we're first going to do some benchmark of the system, how it behaves without antivirus software. Because my experience from the past was that antivirus software was using a lot of memory, using a lot of CPU cycles, so not something which I would run besides my gaming. And that's basically also why in the last few years I didn't use a lot of antivirus anymore.
No, I mean, what you do need to take into account is that, we're talking like, I don't know, probably 10 or more years ago, right? That you last...
Yeah, 10 years, yeah, indeed.
Exactly.
Indeed.
So, and at that point, the hardware was way slower and you had fewer cores, and so it was more limited in a hardware way as well. Now you have multiple cores of, and even more threads. Usually, and the hardware is way more capable. So, in theory, you would say that even if there's an impact, it should be less of an impact. Even for the simple reason, and that doesn't really go for Cinebench because it does use all the cores to its full effect. But for example, in games, most games actually don't use more than like 4 cores still. Some of them may use a few more, but for example, if you have an 8-core 16-thread, let's say, there's very few games that use all those cores and threads at the same time. So, having some processes in the background shouldn't really impact it as much. And then it's also even a question, are you GPU or CPU limited? Because most of these processes will be using the CPU. And that's where you have most of your cores, obviously. So, just going for a setting, this is what Eric will do later on as well. For example, with Rainbow Six Siege. And putting everything in the lowest possible setting, basically to prioritize FPS, and that should load the CPU more. We're not going to say you cannot be GPU bottlenecked in this system, because it's still a mid-range system with a 1660 Super.
Yeah.
So, but it's full HD
Peter,
and it's the lowest setting.
Oh, you have the specs online, yeah.
Yes. It is an i7 though, so the CPU is quite powerful, so it's going to be difficult to max it out with the game like that, but still. Yeah. We're going to try at least to make the scenario in a way that the CPU load is the highest it can be, and then see if there is indeed a measurable impact when you're doing that.
Later I will show you more benchmark data which we did. We can also show you benchmark data what Passmark did, and you can do your own benchmarks. There's a free trial. Did we already tell you that we have a giveaway?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, anyway, we have a giveaway. You can get a 1-year subscription for Norton 360 for gamers.
Yeah, it's over Eric's head.
Yeah. And those with the benefits.
Not just 90 days.
Yeah, those with the benefits, they know how easy it is to win. Cinebench 15, we got the multi-threaded score of 1695. I wrote it down here, and then let me close this. Whatever. Rainbow Six, indeed. Low 1080p we're running it.
And this is, by the way, running the standard Windows Defender in the background. So it's you can get even if you're willing to completely disable Windows Defender. So virus and threat protection at the top, account protection and stuff like that. So yeah, it's all still active.
Yeah.
So this is basically what you would have if you just have a fresh install of Windows. Don't do any antivirus software, and don't make any changes.
To be honest, I really don't think it's advised to do run Windows without any.
No, exactly. That's why it's enabled by default. I mean, you can still disable it if you want to. It's a huge risk. But if you're willing to take that, or if you're you never connect your PC to the internet, whatever the reason may be, it's possible.
Yeah. So Rainbow Six Siege. To be honest, this is not a game I play. So
no, me neither.
I tried it yesterday, and I was it's interesting, but it's a lot of technical stuff. I'm more like the kill guy, shoot, kill.
Battlefield.
Battlefield, yeah. So we go to options, then we go to the graphic setting. Let's first do the display settings. No. So 1080p, full screen, 60. Well, actually, I think this is a 360 hertz monitor.
But it doesn't matter for this because
indeed
the FPS is unlimited,
graphics,
or it should be.
Everything low.
The lowest it can possibly be.
Indeed, and then the render scale is at 25. So actually, if you
look on the right,
if you look at the right, you see here.
The weird thing is that the monitor, when you looked at display, it's a 1080p monitor, but if you put the
we
render
scale this
scaling,
up-
I think it's by default it's on 50 or something.
Yeah.
The weird thing is that would make it. No, can you go back to 50?
Yeah.
The weird thing is that makes it this resolution, which is kind of really weird.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So we're just doing 25, so it's 1080p, just to get a score.
yes. And as you can see at the bottom right as well, it's a 1660 Super. Just so you know that the specs we are having in the bottom as well, they're accurate.
Yeah.
And 16 gigs of DDR4.
And we're going to run this benchmark 3 times.
So Sponge Carrot, the PC specs are at the bottom basically rotating in a visual, in an animation.
Actually, I should also run Cinebench another 2 times.
At the same time?
No. Well, we can do that.
And then as a cherry on top, do what is it? Furmark.
Yeah.
No.
The power virus.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope our deaf guy is still managing well with the subtitles.
I think he's he's busy laughing. Probably.
Yeah, we had the same when we also record some videos and then we need to write subtitles for it, and sometimes we use the YouTube auto-generated subtitles and yeah.
You know what? If you ever want to laugh as well, there's like a lot of people use Teams, and I don't think you can do it there, but you use Google Hangouts, just with your friends or something.
Is that still live?
I think so. I used to try, or maybe it's called different now. But anyway, we tried that as well, and you can actually also enable live subtitles there. Oh man, that was a laugh. Because obviously it unless you're speaking very clear English and native English and articulating very extensively and more than you would normally do.
So I will also add this. Well, one moment. So we got the first run, we got 160, 146, which is the minimum FPS, and 180, which is the maximum FPS. And
you see the CPU load on average is 25%, so we're not even close to maxing the CPU out, and the GPU load is 88%. So again, just for full disclosure, this isn't even close to maxing out, and it's not surprising to maxing out the i7 there.
Going back, going to do another run, escape.
Inferno, yeah, it's a 10700 and it's a shame not 11 gen. Well, we wanted to purposely not have a system that's the biggest and newest specs, because then the impact, if any impact is there from the antivirus, obviously it's going to be smaller. So we want to show a little bit more of a typical scenario of something that's a bit more likely to be in your home, and for that already this i7 is quite high end, I think. Obviously, if you're a PC enthusiast, or you're somebody who's into this and spend a lot of money on those parts, you're likely to have something like along the lines of this. But if you're just a regular gamer, this is already quite high end, based on, for example, things like a Steam survey. Something like with 4 cores is actually the most common at the moment, according to the Steam hardware survey. So, yeah.
Inferno has the 11 gen and think it's very bad.
Yeah, Inferno was also posting. I think he has a Trident X and is having some I don't know, thermal issues. I think he mentioned.
Best to contact support.
Yeah, that's what other people in the chat also said.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
Anyway.
Too many messages in the chat. Okay, next one. Let me copy this again.
Wow, this is a big difference. You didn't change any settings, right?
Well, that was funny.
That was funny.
That was funny. We can compare them.
Do tell.
It says apply.
So 160 to 180. That's 182
a
actually.
huge difference indeed.
Yeah. So anyway, on one the GPU load was 88, and the other one it was even it was 99 or something. So it's much higher. Anyway,
I'm just going to write it down. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's take this one.
182.
180.
No, 182. You need to be exact.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you said 180, so
No,
I
182.
wrote it down. 166. This is a huge difference.
203.
203. Okay. Do another run.
So yeah, the weird thing is, and this always happens during our live streams as well, at the moment we don't know what's causing that big difference.
Also, it doesn't matter. This is a strange thing. When I go back here, I need to apply again to do the benchmark. Yeah. And I don't know what changed.
Weird.
And I didn't change anything, so...
Yeah.
I think there will be an FPS improvement in Windows 11. I don't think so.
I don't know. It depends. Because if there's a game which has, for example, direct storage, and you're having a game like this or CS:GO or whatever that's CPU limited, then yes,
help with FPS.
It can if you're CPU limited, because then your CPU can be bypassed in a lot of instances.
No, but it's more for loading levels and streaming content.
Yeah.
So Peter is trying to add Ben in the background, so you might hear some strange noises, or Peter talking already. But that's happening off screen. So Peter, you're talking? Oh, you're typing.
Yes.
Very polite of you. Do not disturb us. Okay, so this is the third run. Going to copy it again. Come on. Hey. Next one. Oh my god. No, okay. Let's go here. One moment. Because I need to have the correct one. Is this a different one or is that the first one? That's the first one. Okay. Luckily I know where I stored. Documents, my games, Rainbow Six, benchmarks, the last one. So 182. Yeah, this is a different one. 182, 166 and 205. A lot of differences. Okay, so let's close Rainbow Six Siege. In the proper way. I mean, I can Alt F4. Anybody playing Rainbow Six Siege? Apply changes, no. Cancel. Quit to desktop. Yes. Okay, then go to another 2 runs of Cinebench. Peter, maybe we also do the first 2 giveaways? Or maybe the first 4 giveaways?
I don't know. I don't know, because I think Ben is waiting now, so I don't know when you want to start.
No, I still need to install the software, so...
Oh, right, okay.
Ben is a bit early.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Actually...
Fashionably.
Yeah, he's very early. I mean, West Coast USA, so that's now... 8 o'clock?
Something
almost
like that, yeah.
Okay, let me fill this in. So 1575, do another run. So please remember, this is the performance without Norton or Norton 360 for gamers installed. What is the temperature here, Peter? 22, 23?
Yeah, we have climate control here, so it should be around 23 degrees or something. Usually it's quite closer to your system there. It should be a bit hotter.
Big differences over here. 1611. Okay, so exit this. We don't need this anymore. We don't this. Okay, so now let's. We maybe first can introduce Ben. Or you want to do the giveaway? Let's first do the giveaway.
Let's first do the giveaway, indeed, because I think we can do that. So if you haven't...
Maybe you can switch to the main?
Yes. If you haven't already, you can go to msi.com/2/insider, or there should be a link in the chat, especially on Facebook on YouTube and on Twitch. If you're watching on Facebook, because we stream on different platforms at the same time, if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, those are notorious for not liking us to share links like this for the giveaway. So if you want to make sure you can participate, please watch our stream on either YouTube or Twitch. There you can click on a couple of stuff like you can I think follow our channel and things like that. If you already do that, just it will detect that and you can automatically get those points and participate. The more actions you perform, the better your chance of winning, the more points you'll get. If you are a regular viewer, don't forget to claim your loyalty points as well, your loyalty bonus. Throw those into the mix and it will only increase your chances of winning. Anyway, then I will go into the back end of the giveaway system and just draw the first 2 random winners. Let's do 2. And Eric, they all win a year's subscription of Norton 360 for gamers?
Yes, there is a small problem. We don't know if worldwide is covered.
Yeah.
So it might be that we cannot give you this 1-year subscription, but then we'll make it up with a nice game.
Yeah.
So the first 2 winners, Peter?
The first 2 winners, indeed. So we have them. The first one is called Noob Snail. Congratulations, Noob Snail. And the second one is called Gypsy Chris 1.
Exactly.
So congratulations, both Noob Snail and Gypsy Chris 1 on winning
those fancy
year's
names.
Coverage of Norton 360 for gamers.
Yeah.
You guys can experience and test this thing for yourselves and check out and of course be totally secured by it. So that's really nice. And let's see then indeed if we can add Ben to the conversation here. Let me see. I'll have to do this live, so normally we do this prior to the stream, so do forgive me if this takes
no
a
problem. So
while.
meanwhile, I'm installing Norton 360 for gamers.
Yes. Let's see. All right.
It's a pretty straightforward process. So yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. Let me see if I can get you within the windows.
Hi Ben, can you hear us?
Not sure. Wait.
Oh, hi Ben, can you hear us?
Yep,
hey,
I can hear you.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, how about yourself?
Oh, well, we already started without you. So, Ben, can you tell us what you are doing at Norton?
Yeah, absolutely.
Except for catching viruses, of course, and keeping us safe.
So, I'm a gamer. So I'm a business development professional at Norton LifeLock. I support a variety of products internally. But my personal favorite is actually Norton for Gamers. And I really started out supporting this product about a year and a half ago when our head of strategy at the time, we call him Lord Blight on Twitch. You can look him up. He said, hey, are there any gamers internally that want to help develop a product specifically for gamers and kind of start from the ground zero? And this was a new product offering. This wasn't something off the shelf, and kind of raised my hand and said, hey, I'm a gamer. I've been gaming all my life. I would love to help out. And so that's really kind of how I started on the Norton for Gaming side.
All right, cool.
Peter, can you please continue because I'm trying to log in?
Oh, sure. So indeed, so it's really interesting. Obviously, can you tell us a little bit about maybe the past couple of years? Because we were referencing that earlier on in the stream. We were basically saying, the experience that we have. I guess you the same. If I may guess your age, you're probably also somebody who's been gaming for quite a few years. So in the early days of gaming, say I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. Antivirus, it did have an impact, right? And also it was relatively limited compared to how you see it today. Today it's a much more bigger suite with something like VPN and other stuff included in there as well. Can you maybe also tell us a little bit more about how it went from a relatively simple application, just hunting viruses and scanning everything, to a way more expansive suite and what the thought behind it is?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm getting a little gray in my beard. Did that give away my age a little bit? So, really when, I started gaming, it was, if you think about the evolution of gaming and how we really got here, I remember sitting down with my brother. We got the latest video game. We got I remember playing all the campaigns. Even the Halo 1 with my brother, and you would sit there. You'd buy the game for the sale price. You would then sit there, and I'd be playing offline at that time, and I would go through the campaign. Or even there's computer games where you'd be buying the game, but there wasn't that online interaction that you see today. And it was really just you pay up front. Was the time that company can monetize you. Now we're seeing the last few years, especially the rise of purchase items, right? Where gaming being free, and they encourage you to buy skins, right? Whether it's your Fortnite skins or you're buying, I was playing Rocket League last night during the 9 p.m. tournament, trying to say, oh, should I get a new Rocket League skin, right? And they constantly want you to customize your product. Customize your character, even with mobile games now, like with Clash of Clans. You can buy gems and speed things up, or buy new skins for your heroes. And so I think the whole gaming kind of landscape has really changed to where the user itself is a lot more valuable. If someone were to try to take over my account, right? They try to take over. I don't play Fortnite these days anymore, but I played it when it first came out, and I honestly spent a few $100. That if someone were to take over my account, they'd be getting the older skins that maybe they didn't re-release. There's value there. It's not just the $10, $20. It could be $100 on the resale market. And so these accounts are just a lot more valuable. And then you have other games that you're just constantly building your progression that I feel like just never goes away. My brother, he's a big World of Warcraft, I'll call addict. And, he's had the same accounts for the majority of half of his life, and even though in that space, there are some in-game purchase items, but you're really paying a monthly subscription. If he were to lose the progression for that account alone, he'd be devastated. Yeah. And so you kind of see gaming now taking on an identity of itself. It's somewhat like as I think about it, you have your government identity. And I came really from the LifeLock side before, we got acquired by Symantec prior to becoming Norton LifeLock. And so I've always focused on the identity side, and then I was like, hey, I'm a gamer. I want to help. But you really see it's almost like you have your government ID, and then you have your gamer ID, where it's like your
second identity.
Your ID is the same as your Xbox ID, is the same as your PlayStation ID, because now that I have a little more cash than I used to back in the day. I got my gaming rig, which all I do is game on it. PC built it from the ground up, and then I have my PS5 and an Xbox right there on my desk too, for their exclusive. So I think just kind of the change in the gaming kind of landscape is really kind of accelerated and more of kind of how we're being targeted.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I have two sons, and they also want to play Fortnite. One of them is old enough to play Fortnite, and I'm trying to educate them, like, the skins, they don't make you better. It's just, and you don't even see yourself. Yeah, well, in Fortnite you see your own skin, but in most games you don't see the skins. But they're not believing me, and I can't convince them.
It's not always a reason for spending money. It's not always that I get better because it's just because they like the look of it. Right? More fancy clothes or in a certain color, they don't make you a better person either. But if you like them.
This is an expensive hobby, because for us it started like 10 years ago. This customization, and then maybe even shorter, like 5 years ago. These kind of games, but my kids are already educated with that. So if the whole life they have to pay for this kind of stuff, it's going to be very expensive
for them. But for them, that's normal, right? That's what they grew up with, and we saw the evolution of games, I guess, from a little bit more longer ago. So we can say, like, I remember in the old days we didn't have no skins. That's how you're getting old. But
so if you have
we didn't have online. We were out, for games. I wasn't even, my version of multiplayer is I would call my buddy after school and say, hey, do you want to come over and sit next to me and play? Now, now it's like when someone says, hey, can I come over and play a video game with you? I'm like, no, go home. I want my own screen. Yeah. Go home. We'll talk online. Don't ruin my experience.
Mr. Matsudox is on YouTube is saying he looks like a bouncer. Viruses are running in fear. Ben is the man. Yeah, so if you have any questions about online, about antivirus, malware, protection, you name it, just drop the question in the chat.
Yeah, and we'll see if we can ask Ben for an answer on very specific ones.
Yeah, indeed. So, Peter, maybe you can copy Ben also in the capture screen.
You know, just before we do that, I guess that the whole thing that it's a very dynamic landscape, gaming and the PC and stuff like that in general, just makes it incredibly sophisticated and difficult, I guess, to cover the whole thing, right? Because if you see the speed at which things are releasing and changing and updating in this industry, I mean, even for us as a hardware vendor, for us sometimes it's hard to keep up with these things, and it's a massive amount of work. And for you guys, it must be something similar, because you're trying to cover everything or as much as possible to with security. So.
Yeah, no, I think and I have a lot of thoughts on that topic, but we have a great team internally when it talks about the actual antivirus engine and detecting and blocking and remediation of those things. I mean, we have some super smart guys that just honestly, I sit in a room with them and they blow my mind every time I talk to them. But really, when you think about what's the biggest risk, it's not always the antivirus. It's actually the person. And what I mean by that is, I think one of you guys mentioned that you guys have your young kids are starting to play Fortnite and these other games. What you see a lot of the time are people are targeting them with these young users or these just more naive users with very specific messaging saying, download this, get a free game. Download this, get free in-game currency. I have my fiance has a young brother. She's the oldest of 5. And have a big age gap there, but her youngest brother, came to me and we're playing, we have like a little family Clash of Clans, clan going, and he goes, hey, I want to get a 5th builder. It's 2,000 gems. This one site says if I download this, I'll get free unlimited gems. We should do it. Yeah. And I'm like, oh no, you shouldn't.
Yeah, I see that.
Nothing is ever
using
free,
social
right?
media and YouTube, TikTok to reach these kids.
Yep.
They have they make some videos and that's what they watch, and then it works. It really works.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all over. Twitter, YouTube. You type it in and you'll see like 1,000 YouTube videos with the hey, click this link here and download here.
So you're right. It starts with the user.
That's usually the weakest link in terms of security anyway, yeah.
There is only one cure for that, learn the hard way.
Well, I mean, I guess a lot of us have, figured out, even if you're our age, right? I mean, in the old days, viruses used to be a bit more benign, I guess, they weren't quite as devastating, or at least there wasn't maybe as much value in the accounts quite yet as there is now, exactly like Ben mentions, these days accounts are worth more than the games that you have on them, even if it's a Steam account or something. So there's way more to target there and way more to watch out for as well. But most of us will probably have some experience that, at least at that point, maybe it was mildly frustrating or something. Maybe your PC didn't boot or it blocked some kind of application. But if that was the worst of it, if you compare it to how it can be now, like your whole PC is locked or your account is completely hacked, and when you get back into it, all your stuff is gone, it's sold, whatever. That's, I think, way more of a threat and something I would be way more devastated by as well than simply having a bit of a nuisance because there's something blocking an application or slowing your PC down.
Peter.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. Can you please maybe do another 2 lucky draws? Then I will announce them, and then you can copy Ben in the capture screen.
Oh,
because then we're going to talk about
I have
the
to
software
draw the winners and copy Ben at the same time. I'm multitasking like hell here.
I see you're not.
You're a very talented individual.
I want to say yes, but probably no.
Okay, so today we're giving away 2-year subscriptions for Norton 360 for gamers. We're going to talk about the product in a few minutes. Yeah. Oh, you want? Yeah. Anyway, so Peter?
Yeah, indeed for the giveaway, if you've missed it, you can go to msi.com/2/insider. And perform a couple of actions. There's also the Gleam link being shared in the chat on YouTube and Twitch. You can go there as well. It's all safe, honestly. I mean, it sounds really dodgy, just after talking about something like that. Anyway, it's
It's not a phishing account.
Exactly.
Our regular viewers know this spam bot is each week there.
And we don't ask for any, credentials, anything like that. Don't worry about it. The only thing we ask is that, for example, you follow our channel
we
or
should
stuff
have
like
done
that.
I mean, we should have fill in your name and then
No.
after the stream announce what we all got.
I don't think that's how you really get people to trust you, Eric.
Learn the hard way.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. Our CMO had this commercial, and it was like, how the world's changed. It's like, you go to a hotel, you want free Wi-Fi, type in your SSN here. It's like you're trying to get all this free stuff, and they just keep getting more and more and more information from you.
Scary.
I mean, it's because there's like it's a difficult terrain, because on the one hand, data mining, I think it's mentioned by somebody in the chat earlier as well, is kind of the norm these days. And of course, people are waking up to it. They're getting more aware. Governments are getting more aware. So there's more rules involved now. But still, it's still being used as an acceptable way of also making money for some platforms. Facebook, for example, is a good one. Google as well, or YouTube. So to an extent, it's I guess okay and accepted. It's legal. There's nothing wrong with it. But indeed, it's like a very slippery slope, because at some point, if you provide more information than you care to share, or you're just not aware of it, then people can do some really nasty stuff with it.
Okay, lucky winners,
yes.
Peter?
Yes. Anyway, we have 2 more winners. One of them is called Mandy.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Mandy.
And the next lucky winner has a lucky name?
Sorry?
Yes,
and the third winner indeed has a lucky name, because they are called Lucky971.
Well,
coincidence.
They were very lucky.
Yeah, you chose the right name.
He was not lucky because he used the loyalty bonus.
No,
so
you can still get lucky with it. You still need to have some amount of luck, right?
Yeah, but not so much.
It helps.
Exactly. Never hurts. Never hurts. Okay. Let's see if I can copy Ben indeed into this. Here we go.
Yeah, so this is the PC. I just, I'm finishing installing the software. So it says this device is protected, device security activated. I can now also add another device, because Ben, maybe you can explain this. This license or this product comes with 3 licenses, or you can activate on 3 devices, right?
Yep, you can do 3 devices. Obviously it's focused on desktop. I mean, we're very focused on PC gaming. But if you wanted it on your, if you wanted one of the licenses on your Android device, you absolutely can download our Norton Security Android app. But it wouldn't be obviously with Norton Game Optimizer and some of these other products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and here you can add some other device, protect another device. I'm not going to do it right now. It switches away.
But I mean, it does make sense that you do it on multiple devices, because I mean, just for example, if you're a typical gamer, you'll also have. You don't even have to play games on your phone, but you'll have, for example, Steam Guard or whatever on your phone as well as a 2-step verification. But that means your phone can also be, it also needs basically some extra security, because if they get to that, they might also be able to get into your account. So, yeah, if you're going to do one thing, one device, it makes sense to also do the others that maybe you're also using.
And I'm glad you touched on 2FA. I mean, I would always recommend, by the way, just using those apps. Yep. I know Battle.net has an app. I would always use an app instead of like SMS based, because people can take over your phone number.
Yeah. SIM card swapping.
Very sophisticated targeted attacks with SIM swapping. Yep. So I always recommend apps.
And I mean, I know it sounds a bit far-fetched maybe for some people, like, who would SIM swap me? I'm just, nobody knows me, nobody cares, but still, it's I guess also at some point about statistically, ruling out some opportunities, which basically makes you less vulnerable. Yeah,
I mean, also I think some accounts I've seen where it's like, I can literally say log in a different way, and they say, hey, do you want to do SMS 2FA? And I'm like, it's easier, but dude, that's not good. I don't want that. And to your point, I mean, it is targeted, but I know some people like Genshin Impact. I personally have never played it, but I was talking to one guy, and he's like, literally, like, I've dropped $3,000-$4,000 in that game. I was like, wow.
Jeez. All right.
Like, you are dedicated.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a look at the software. I just installed it. It says show me. Well, actually we have Ben here, so I will do this later. So this is the interface. Is it? Yeah, it shows correctly. Maybe like this. Yeah. So this is the interface you will see. I directly see here a game optimizer, which I can switch on and off. Ben, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Game Optimizer is patented technology, and really it's, you know, just dedicating your cores to your game. Really, when I think of this is it's really kind of peace of mind for me. It's like it's almost like insurance. It's like I want when I'm playing my game, nothing to take away from the actual game I'm playing. I don't want lag spikes. I don't want a sudden drop in FPS. I don't want anything like that happening due to other things that may be running in the background, like Chrome. I'm always running Spotify a lot of the time, or just other kind of abnormalities that may pop up. So really what it does is it takes 90% of your cores, dedicates it directly to the game, and leaves one core open for your non-essential, I like to say non-essential, but basically non-gaming activities. And so it's, when you have it on, it automatically detects when you're playing a game. So if you launch Steam, it'll say, okay, Ben Waters is playing Steam. Or if you're launching, the Epic Games launcher, right, it'll automatically detect that, and then it'll immediately start working for you.
Okay, so the more workload in the background, the more results this will give.
Absolutely. Like the one thing, I don't know about you guys, but for me, what's always frustrating is I go to play a game and with my current kind of life, I don't have as much time to play games as I used to. And so when I go to play one game of Valorant, because it takes an hour, when I go to play my one game for the night of Valorant, sometimes I'll look and like, I need to update Ark Survival Evolved, or I need to update some of these other games. And what I really hate to do is say, okay, fine, let me update it now and let me walk away and stop playing my game, because I can't, previously I wouldn't want to download a game and play a game, not because I cared necessarily about the updating speed, but more because I didn't want whatever I was doing for the updates to affect my gameplay, because then that won't be fun anyway. I'm just, I'm doubly screwed. Yeah. And so with this, actually, what I like about Game Optimizer is you can actually see, I think it was up to about 30% increase in FPS if you're playing a game and you're downloading a game or updating a game at the same time. And so it allows me really to constantly be gaming, even if I have these other updates going on in the background, which honestly, saves me a bunch of time, because I'm also not the type of person to say, hey, before I head into work, let me go turn on my gaming PC and let me do all these upgrades and then leave it on. I'm like, it's my baby. I'm like, hey, I don't want nothing on when I'm gone from the house. When it's on, I want to be there.
And the updates are getting bigger and bigger, so it's not something like I can get a coffee or something. It's like 70
Well, it depends on your internet connection, I guess, but also. By the way, sorry, gonna just jump in here, because I see some good and interesting questions in the chat. Two of them I want to address. One of them is, if you win one of the subscriptions, is it bound in a certain time, or can you wait until your current subscription, if you have it, runs out and then start it?
Ooh, good question.
I have no idea, honestly.
So we have
I also don't know if Ben knows that answer, but I'm going to throw it out there.
I honestly don't know that answer. Yeah. That's a good question. I mean,
so we may have to get back to you about that.
Personally, I would like it to be, hey, if you have an active subscription, have it tag on after that. Personally, but I'd have to check in with the folks internally.
Yeah, we will find out, and we will email the winners.
Yeah. The second one is
from before which dates they will need to activate it, if there's any date.
Exactly. If there is an expiration date for these codes, indeed, we will let you know. And the second one is from Chibo Wizard on Twitch, is asking, does this work? So the Game Optimizer, does this work for all games, even on independent game launchers? I'm not sure if it works on by using the game launcher. I think it just looks at if I understand correctly, Ben, the process is running in the background, and it's going to try and minimize their impacts.
So I don't think it's dependent on an overview of the games, right, which I installed.
Well, yes, so let me touch on that, actually, because this was a question I had as a gamer, because for me, when I joined, like I said, I started on this product a year before it was released, and I was the type of person, when I first built my PC, I said, hey, I'm building this for performance. I'm investing a ton of money into it, and I'm not downloading anything that can have a negative impact on my performance. And so I said, hey, we got to have something like Game Optimizer there that guarantees me that at a minimum there's no impact when if there's nothing else in the background, and then it give me some benefit when something else is in the background. And when we're looking at it, I said, even to the product team, I said, hey, there's other games out there that are launched that may have their own launcher. One that I downloaded semi recently that had their own launcher, and I always do a double take. So I'm like, man, I really don't want to download something I shouldn't. But it was Escape from Tarkov.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own launcher. I had to go through their whole website to find it and everything. And if our Norton Game Optimizer doesn't automatically detect it, you can actually go in there and say, hey, work for these applications. You can honestly, I believe, even say, hey, work for Microsoft Excel if you were running a bunch of crazy things going on. So you have the ability to customize it.
Right.
Yeah, I see. I went here to the settings menu. So if you go to the settings and then Game Optimizer, you see all the settings. So we have restrict resource usage for under processes and also for system processes. So this is I assume, the default setting. You can also say automatically set power plant to max performance.
This is a thing that I think is very common indeed, trying to prep your PC for maximum performance.
So also optimize game add. So when I tested earlier, it showed my game. Now it doesn't. So should I add this, just browse to the game?
Yeah, you just installed it. So indeed, I think you need to add it.
Where did I put it?
Maybe scroll down a bit more, because there was more.
Oh,
there you go.
Do you think this works? No.
I don't know. I don't know if you can click a shortcut indeed, or if you have to find the executable.
I think it's on. I need to check where I installed it. Yeah, I just did click, Ubisoft.
So indeed, I guess you have to add the executable file in the folder where you installed it.
On my PC at home, I know I have separated directories where I install. Actually, I can check it like this. Oh, not. Haha, lol. Let me see where we. Oh, no, not go online. Oh, my God. I can search it.
Well, so it's a Ubisoft launcher.
That's the benchmark. So this is the game settings. That's my documents.
No, you need to go. I don't know, either on D or C, I guess.
Game, verify files, view game details, I guess.
No. Well.
Properties. Here we are.
All right.
Does it work like this? Maybe.
No. It doesn't look like it. So you just have to go to C, program files, x86.
C.
Program files, x86. Yeah, that one. And then I guess find Ubisoft. Yeah.
Ubisoft.
And click. Games. There. Games. Yeah. There you go.
Yes, and now, well, it does. I cannot add it.
No, you still need to find the executable.
I need to check. Maybe if I start the game, it will automatically detect it. Ben, do you know?
Yep, I believe it should.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So why I'm doing all this difficult?
That's a good question, Eric.
Yeah. Maybe I should first ask questions.
Asking the real questions right there.
Yeah, because
really,
when I last time installed it, it automatically showed, and yeah, we're just going to run this.
All right.
Yeah, really, when you're going to want to kind of manually do it on your end is when it's like a independent game that's not on one of the more established kind of launches out there, and kind of say, hey, brand new game, we haven't had the chance. But I mean, that's one thing that we're constantly going to be doing with this product is we're constantly going to be updating it, we're constantly going to be upgrading it. There's going to be new features that we're going to be adding to it. This is not a done product where this is it. We do have a roadmap that we're working towards and we're currently working on. And so as games become more popular, and we see, because we see more people using it, and even just some qualitative feedback from users saying, hey, we're playing this game, it's not automatically, can you do it, right? That's an easy adjustment on our end.
Yeah. I also saw an option to I don't know how it was called in English, but to let's say avoid notifications.
Yeah, so one thing that we definitely did was, we call it notification kind of optimization, where that's one thing that was specifically important for the gaming product, which is not something that's on our other products, where the last thing I want to do is when I'm in a shootout, when I'm playing Call of Duty or I'm playing, any kind of, FPS game. The last thing I want is a pop-up to happen at the wrong time. Like that would just be just god awful. And so really what we did was with
it's here.
Yep.
Get it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So really what we did with our notifications is the only time one pops up is when you're being actively attacked. When you're having like an S1 issue, I mean, that's when a pop-up will happen. The rest of it will just be in the background. It won't pop up on your screen.
Yeah, that's what was one of the things which I really liked, because before you joined, I was explaining like I'm old, and in the back in the days, antivirus, it was like pop, 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 a scan, and quite annoying. And to my surprise, it's gone. It's like
you can
user-friendly,
indeed you can disable that, and it's
hopefully protecting me.
Yeah, but without bothering you.
When I have notification optimization, it means when somebody's hacking me, I still get a notification, right? Or is it completely gone?
No. I mean, look, when someone's hacking you, like when there's an active kind of attack happening, we got to notify you, especially.
Good.
Especially with why gamers are even being targeted. The original question. We talked about identities and we talked about accounts, but also your hardware. People are buying 3080s, 3070s, 2070s. People are buying. They're not a lot of the time playing their games.
You're now touching a hot topic because they want to buy them. You maybe
they're buying these more expensive rigs, and what we're seeing is malware where they want to use your rig to do crypto mining. And so that is one that's specifically targeted for gamers. And so when that happens, we I think it's important that we let you know.
Absolutely.
Another question also by Mector on Twitch. He's asking, now you mentioned it dedicates one core to background processes and the rest to the game. Would we have to disable this for streaming so OBS doesn't get stuck with only one core to operate on? It's a very technical question.
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know the exact answer. My guess would be if you're using OBS and you're streaming from if you're not doing a 2 PC setup for streaming, my guess is you would most likely have to disable Game Optimizer if you wanted more than one core for OBS.
Yeah, so that could be a potential issue. But I guess again, it also really depends on your system, on your setup.
Absolutely.
If you have an 8-core 16-thread, you're probably less likely to notice or to have any issues than, for example, if you have a 4-core 4 threads.
Well,
I mean, you guys are the hardware guys. I mean, if you're running the top of the line, 4,000 USD type of, computer, you're going to be just fine, running both of those things. It really depends on your specific hardware.
Yeah.
Then, of course, I see here device security. I think this is just a normal scan. Let's hope we don't find any viruses.
You got a USB stick inserted right
Yeah,
now?
I already had it in. In the past, like a long time ago, it was like there was still a virus on the USB stick. You put it in, and that's how the virus got transferred. And then, those antivirus software became popular, and you put it in, and like block, like, oh, I didn't know. So sometimes I find an alt key, and then it's like, Okay, so this is the normal virus scan, and I assume this is doing the virus scan scheduled, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I don't have to do that, so I'm going to do stop now. It will finish. Live update. I think this is the same like all live updates. So yeah, okay. Directly finds new antivirus definitions.
Yeah, it's just making sure everything is updated, I guess, and has the latest definitions and stuff, which you should always do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're updating right now. It seems our connection is a bit slow.
Brian Perry was asking, what's the latency with that VPN on? I mean, it depends on a lot of things, Brian.
Well,
it depends on where you're located, where your closest VPN connection, the server where you're connecting to is located, and the speed of both of you and the VPN as well. And then also, if you're connecting to a game through a VPN, then you have to add that into the equation as well, because then that becomes a factor. So, yeah, no one answer to that one. It really depends on a lot of things for you.
Couldn't say it better than myself.
But in most Western countries,
Yeah,
in most Western countries, let's say Western Europe and America, I don't really know for Latin America or like Australia or Asia, because there you have you have a bit more distance sometimes with the ocean, and so the signal, you have more latency anyway usually. But it depends. I think in most Western countries it should be fine with VPN on in terms of latency as well.
Okay. Meanwhile, I updated the product.
But yeah, VPN, I don't know if game. I mean, that's a good question actually. Is it useful to play games over VPN, or is it mostly useful for general usage, as in checking your email, browsing the web, and that kind of stuff?
So it's I think one is it's always good for general usage, especially when you're accessing like your banking account, things like that. These highly sensitive accounts that you have. But really, kind of why it's there and kind of what we're really kind of protecting against is like DDoS attacks, doxing, and even swatting. So even if you're a streamer, I hate these videos, but you see people getting swatted where people are coming in and it's really scary stuff. And so the VPN will definitely help there. And even on the DDoSing one, I personally haven't had this happen to me, but I know that talking to Lord Blight, one of because he's a guy on Twitch, one of his viewers and guys he plays with, one of the younger kids, with one of he's friends with one of his sons. He was actually in a match, and I forget whether it was Destiny or something else, but he wasn't experiencing lag or that. He was totally fine all day. He got into one match, and this match ended up being extremely close. Where it was like coming down to the wire on who's going to win. And then all of a sudden he started experiencing a DDoS attack, and, his whole team did. And apparently, I want to say it's a team of 5, almost everybody had to get kicked out of the game, but he quickly turned on, the VPN, stopped it. He went right back to normal, and was able to win the game. And so it's really, you're not going to need it, realistically while you're playing a game every single, minute, every single second while you're playing. But there's definitely going to be times where it's useful. It's definitely going to be useful if you're a streamer and you're kind of in the public space a lot of the time. And then, like we talked about earlier, just when you're, generally searching the web and accessing your banking account and other kind of sensitive information, it's always good to use.
Yeah.
So if I go to secure VPN,
security.
let's say settings. So there are different options here. I'm not a VPN guy, so it doesn't say anything to me.
You can auto connect, which I guess means just whenever you
when the computer starts,
boot your PC, indeed, you can just automatically make sure it connects and it's on. Kill switch, obviously, just stop all data.
Yeah. Ad block tracking, always useful.
Yeah.
A split tunnel. Select the apps. Okay. So certain apps you can use over VPN, and the rest will go over your normal connection. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you just say turn on VPN, and it's selecting automatically a region.
Yeah.
I see here behind me, and it's a notification in the right bottom corner.
We don't see that.
It says secure VPN is established, a safe network. Too fast. Anyway, connection secured. And here it also says. Yeah. So now, hey, Ben. Good morning. I'm also in the US.
Yeah.
United States of America.
It's strange that it automatically puts it in the US, because you wouldn't expect that to be the first pick.
And here I can also select it manually, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So all countries here, Holland?
Pretty much, yeah.
I think that's
at first when you clicked turn it on, I noticed that it did mention the Netherlands. So
I'm going to Mexico right now. It gives an error, connection error. Please try later again. And maybe I need to select another country.
Just select the Netherlands, because honestly that would make, we're located in the Netherlands, so it would make most sense that you should still select the Netherlands, because you do add that layer of protection. But it being the Netherlands, it should, the latency should be the lowest.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking you want to protect yourself, so you pretend like being from a different region, but same region, but they cannot find you is perfect, indeed. Okay, interesting. So then I also see here an option. I want everything green. Not sure if we can make everything green. Anyway, dark web monitoring. What does it mean, Ben?
So that's really important. I mean, we talked about it earlier, where gaming is an identity. You use this identity not just for one game, not just for one account that you have. You use it for multiple ones, and it's constantly following you as you traverse the web. And what I'm seeing also is that people who have their gaming account, they're also using it for non gaming things. You can have the same username for Steam as you do for your ESPN Plus account, for your Disney Plus account, Hulu, and so on and so forth. And so really what dark web monitoring for gamer tag specifically is doing is saying, is there a breach of your identity associated with your, we also look for your email, with your gamer tag, anything that you can provide us, so you can actually go into the product even after initial sign up and add some more things for us to monitor on your behalf. But we're really looking for, is there any data exposure for you specifically so that you can remediate before anything bad happens? And so even if, what I like to point out, even if you get a breach happened on, I don't like using company names, but let's say breach happened at ABC, and you use the same, your gamer tag as a username for that account, and then people honestly reuse their passwords a lot more than they should. Obviously, there's some other reasons that contribute to that. But if you get a breach at ABC company, there's a good chance that account information that was breached can be used in a kind of a credential stuffing account, a credential stuffing attack at other accounts, and they can get access to your gaming account. Yeah. And so really, we're just trying to protect your account from account takeover, whether it's from a third-party gaming site that is an independent company that may not have had top line of security that expose your data, or to some other these bigger companies that may have data exposures.
Okay. So I guess it's like have I been pwned? That's a website you can check to see if your credentials have been indeed compromised and are somewhere for sale. But then for gamer accounts and whatever other credentials you provide to you guys, so you will scan for that and see, okay, if that pops up anywhere, you get a notification and you know exactly which gaming account, and so you have, hopefully it's in time for you to still, to update your password, to change it, so that, you kind of prevent any bad stuff from happening.
Yeah, and these bad actors know that, human behavior is going to reuse these passwords, right? And so they're going to get all these millions of records out there. They're going to create kind of a master file, and then what they're going to do is they're going to go to these various sites that they think that has value to their accounts, like a Steam account. They're going to do credential stuffing where they're just running through all these different email password combos to hopefully get a 1% hit, 2% hit. And so they can further monetize that data and potentially resell whatever on that account.
Exactly.
People, I'm sure you guys are the same way, but on my Steam account, I have games that I've had, for years. There's so many games on there that's definitely valuable to others.
Most not played, but
not just the games. I mean, you mentioned earlier as well. I think for many people these days, it's the in-game items that you have in there, be it skins or whatever, that might be even more well, at least worth more. It might not have the most sentimental value, but in terms of monetization and financial value, that's probably going to be more for a lot of people. If you play those kinds of games which have skins, it's probably going to outweigh the value of any games you have.
Yeah, I remember seeing. I want to say it was so back, like I want to say years ago when Fortnite Battle Royale first started. I think it was like the Red Raider, something like that my buddy had, and I remember it was like a $10, $15 skin. And he showed me online. He goes, "Look how much people are willing to pay, for my account." And it was like $300 or $200. And I was like, first, that's insane. How many skins can you get for that amount?
Yeah.
But this is also, a lot of people are not aware of what the value of their account is, and when they lose it, it's too late. Then they know, then they're missing it, and for most it's not the value of money, but it's I built this. This is my character. This is my stuff.
It's the investment that you have into the account in terms of time and emotionally maybe.
Yeah. So.
It's like a personal. It's you as a person. It's your digital life. Absolutely. People can be devastated even just losing the name of their account even, let alone what they bought. They're like, oh, that's my name. I always have that name. Why can't I have it anymore?
Yeah. Don't confuse me with somebody else. So this is dark web monitoring. So if you are in your software, in your application, you click on View Alerts. You go to your website, and there you can add all your personal information. And I assume this gets encrypted and stored on your server, right?
I think they have it on a big website, so everybody can access it.
You can choose another name. Now this gets stored, and this is the information you're matching against databases on the dark web.
Yep. Yeah, we're accessing. We have a very, very large data lake that is constantly adding, new breach data. I mean, one thing that is important is what we also do is kind of like a baseline, right? And so we're not going out there and I get Ben Waters' email, and I'm now monitoring for his email across the dark web. So anything net new coming up, I'll be able to alert you on. Yeah. It's not just that. It's also we take in the full breach data. So we find a file. We understand there's, let's just throw out a crazy number, 2 billion records. Yeah. We're going to look at all of them. And so that way when, Eric, is signing up for the account, when he gives us his information, we can say, hey, Eric, thanks for signing up. By the way, here are the past 7 data exposures we found, with your email associated with. And so you have an understanding right then at that time, oh man, here are the accounts that may be affected, and here's what I can do.
So and then, so you also tell us what to do, probably changing passwords and panicking, of course.
Yeah, the easiest one is obviously changing passwords, but I mean, this is why I use a password manager. I highly recommend it, and I use it for a number of reasons, but mainly is because I don't want to reuse passwords, and my memory sucks. Same. And so I use this password manager, and I don't even create my own passwords. I really just use the password generator. I have a unique password for every account.
Same here.
And so that way, if I know, let's say, I don't want to throw a name, but let's say ABC is breached, I go, okay, let me go change that one account. Yep. Versus reusing passwords, I've seen crazy numbers, like 80% of people reuse passwords. When you're reusing passwords and one of them's breached or exposed, I then have to go, is there 20 accounts? I now have to go back, and then you're like, well, I don't want to go to all 20 of them. Let me prioritize 1 or 2 of them, and then your risk profile just inherently goes up. Yeah. And so that's really the biggest thing is change your passwords. Use a password manager, and that will definitely help.
Okay. Yeah, very useful. Well, I mean, I don't want to get caught on the dark web. And something you cannot monitor yourself. I mean, that's why we have companies like Norton. I also see cloud backup. I didn't touch it yet, so I'm going to click on setup. Short on time, always. Click here to accept. Well, can you tell us a little bit about this? About the cloud how much do you get? And can you store everything on it, like pictures? Or is it purely for game data?
I think you can store anything on it. I forget the exact amount. I want to say when I last was like 50 gigs, if I'm not mistaken.
Said, yeah.
But I would have to double check.
Yeah. Eric missed it, but that's what it said indeed in the window below that.
I can exit.
Because it says there how many, now it says never run, but before that it said, something like 49.6 gigs of space available.
What, where, when?
No, it said that.
And you know what's funny? Before. I just noticed, Peter and Eric, you guys have the little arrow there that says you guys are 5 meters apart.
Yes. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So, well, actually,
we've done that from the start.
Like maybe even more. He's around the corner, so I cannot see Peter, but it's social distancing.
Yeah.
And we're doing this already since like actually the
2020 March, I think, right? That's when it pretty much started, when it got serious here in the Netherlands.
Because normally we're 2 persons behind 1 desk.
Yeah, we sit next to each other. That's how we always did it. Yeah.
And it's actually this sucks because I mean the colors of Peter are different normally. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to say about Norton, but anyway, the different cameras, so different light, and it's a nightmare. Yeah. Anyway, this is live now, and.
But we did want to say, from the beginning that we do take this seriously, and we're at least doing our part to try and obviously not get sick. But
okay,
anyway.
So you can also run automatic backups. So it's not only cloud storage, but I see you can also run backups. So I see here so it's making an automatically list, and you can select like I want to back up certain
your
files.
typical, exactly.
Yep.
Or I think that was like one of your, those were the last recently accessed files that you just saw.
So here you can select, do you want to back up all the pictures, music, financial files, not the videos. So these are the standard settings, and of course you can adjust this. Where, so you can select, you can also make backups on your local. So it also has a backup function. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So
you can do it in the secure cloud indeed, which is then available
Can I
through
access
your...
this cloud remotely? Do you know this?
Oh, that's a question for me. I actually do not know.
Okay, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I already said don't
guess,
ask too many technical questions. No problem,
but I guess,
problem.
like for example, if you have your phone and then you also install the Norton application on your phone, then I guess you would have access through that.
Yeah. So one option I also see here, I mean, so you can select what you want to back up. It's either entire drives or certain type of files. Where you want to back up it, on a different drive or in the secure cloud, which is of course recommended. And then you can also make a schedule, like I want each Monday morning at 6 a.m. in the morning. I want to run this when my PC is idle, and then save settings, which I'm now going to do. I'm not sure if it's going to run right now. Oh, that's it. Okay, clear.
By the way, Repo Man is saying, I've reused passwords before, but those passwords were 30 characters long with uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and symbols. I mean, yeah, that would make it harder to guess in a brute force attack, you know, if people are trying to really figure out and you know, with individually your words or your password, then yeah, that's harder. But you know, once it leaks out, and it's kind of like Ben mentioned, you know, companies unfortunately get breached all the time, and there it's not about how hard your password is. Once that database is breached, it will be out in the open, and so it doesn't really, at that point, it doesn't matter how. You know how complicated your password is. It's probably, you know, leaked out. So that's why it's a good idea to make sure that for every account you have a unique password that can be as difficult or as easy as you want.
And it's easy to assume that all those companies take well care of your data, meaning they have an encrypted, salted database, and they cannot, without brute force, guess your password. But actually a lot of store it still in plain text, and maybe before the transition to encrypted passwords on the server. So and what those criminals then are doing, they just use this password with your email address, and they run it against all the websites, hoping they have a hit with your account login, and
then they can sell
all automated.
Yeah, and then what we're seeing too is just kind of a rise in phishing attacks and spear phishing attacks, where they set up a fake Facebook website, or they set up a fake Steam account login, and they say, hey, type in your credentials here, for access, and you don't notice, but in the URL it's just one letter difference, right? A lot of stuff like that's happening, to where they're gonna try and get the data directly from you. And so they know it's 100% accurate, right? When you're going through data exposures and breach data, they understand that, hey, there's going to be some good data here that they can use, some actual live data. But for the most part, some of it's going to be junk, right? That's not going to help them monetize at all, because they're really just looking for the cash out phase, right, to monetize. But the phishing, you're like, oh man, these guys, unless somebody fat fingered their own password, which happens to me way too often. Unless someone fat fingers their own password, you're like, this data is authentic. Let me go take over their account ASAP. And so we're seeing a ton of that happening.
Ben looks like he wants to play some games. Inferno is saying, no more questions, please.
Hey, I'm always looking to play some games, man. I try to start early so I can get in, get my work done, work out, and then go to, literally I go from the desk at work, I go to the gym, then I go to the desk at home. And I start gaming right away.
X-Dry, Peter?
What, sorry?
The last X-Dry, make a good Dragon Center.
X-Dry, well, yeah.
Good point. Soon we have a live stream about it, because we are working hard on improving it, and it's actually called Msi Center. You can already try it.
Yeah, indeed. So Dragon Center is the application that we had. It was the first attempt, or let's say first version, where we tried to include a lot of different software that we had in the past into one framework, in one application, which is already a very big project and really, very difficult to do. It wasn't perfect, but it was a very nice move already. And now we pretty much have the second version, which is going to be MSI Center indeed. And it's already, if you have one of the latest products from MSI, MSI Center is the software that you'll have on there. But indeed, we're going to do a live stream in a couple of weeks' time, I think, where we're going to talk all about that and then also show you guys what is improved.
I would say 1.5 months, middle of September.
Yeah, maybe indeed. Anyway, but yeah, so if you are really interested about that and Dragon Center or MSI software or MSI Center, then make sure you join that live stream.
And some really
as well.
good improvements.
Yes, making really good steps indeed.
Yeah. I also see a password manager. Is this the same like what I'm using on my phone? I don't know what I'm using, but you have the famous password managers.
Yeah, if you're using the Norton password manager, if it's on your iOS device or Android device, it'll be the same one. That you see here. We also offer it as an.
Yeah. So this.
It works on Google Chrome.
Okay, so yeah, you have add-ons for your browser, so actually it's the same. And I see you can generate passwords. Oh, yeah, that's like what I call a good password. Ooh,
there you go. 64.
Actually, most websites don't accept longer than 20 or 18 or something, but yeah, okay, cool.
Well, either that, but I mean, if you have to answer or put in a password as random as that with 64 characters, that's gonna take you a while.
Yeah, no, well, with password manager it's automatically submitted, signed in.
Autofill.
Yeah. Autofill.
It would autofill for you. It's very easy. And it also detects what I like about it as well, because if you add a new account, right, you're in the account creation process, you sign up for the first time, similar to how the browsers do it as well. But our password managers say, hey, you just created a new account. Would you like to add it to your password manager? Oh yeah, I would. Yes, please. Or if you update it and you're logging into an existing account with the same email, it will say, hey, did you update your password? Update it in your password manager as well.
Yeah. Okay, so actually, because I already told everybody, I'm from a long time ago, so you had like antivirus software. Actually, now it should be malware scanner or software, right? Because it's more about the malware nowadays. But I don't know what the amount per year is, but actually you're getting a lot with it. I mean, I see cloud storage. I'm not trying to sell it. I mean, everybody needs to test it themselves. No, but I mean, you get a VPN. Normally, what's that per month? $5 per month? $10 per month?
What I always liked about gamers, and what I've told everybody, even internally on my end, is like, look, gamers do their homework. When they're making a purchase, they're doing their due diligence. They're doing their research. I was looking at New World, that new game. I said, hey, that game looks pretty cool, but let me check out. I watched it on Twitch. I checked out some reviews. I did the beta so I can get my money back if I didn't like it. People go in depth when they're actually putting their money out there. And I said, look, they're going to do the same thing for Norton for gaming. They're going to do the same exact thing. They're going to look at our product. They're going to look how it works. I think we offer if you buy it from us, you get like a 60-day, money back kind of guarantee if you don't like it. And so I was like, people are going to test it. They're going to compare it to others. And if they don't like it, we'll hear from them. We'll know. But we got to make sure that we're up to snuff, because they're definitely going to put it to the test.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Eric, I think you after you run through the setting it up, you also going to put it to the test, right? Because we did
absolutely.
some benchmarks
we're going to do
without
another run of benchmarks to see what the impact is of having antivirus software installed. Peter, maybe we do another giveaway?
Yeah,
because I already saw it 10 minutes ago, or maybe that's not the time. What's the time?
That's right.
This time is not correct. Okay, you already had it open 20 minutes ago. Yep. Okay, so we're giving away a 1-year subscription to Norton 360 for gamers, and the winners are.
Let's see. So let's draw some more.
Yeah, I like everything comes. Good things come into Peter.
Of course, yeah.
So the first winner is JC.
Congratulations.
Is that correct? Yes, congratulations, JC. And the second winner is...
No, wait. We have to redraw that.
Peter and drawing. Actually, this is Gleam is started. We should get a replacement for Gleam. Sometimes too slow.
There we go.
So, and the second winner is Jeffo.
Yes.
Is that correct, Peter? Jeffo?
Jeffo, yes. Jeffo.
Jeffo.
Congratulations
Yeah, congrats.
to
if
JC
you want to
and
participate,
Jeffo.
you still can go to msi.com/2/insider, or in YouTube and Twitch we have a spam bot running, and there's a link which you can trust today. You can click on it. It's a Gleam link.
Yes.
Yeah, funny stuff today happening. Let us continue. I still see parenting control. I have kids, so yeah.
It's always nice.
So, for sure there are more parents in the stream here.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So I'm not going to say who has kids, because that's maybe like what are their names? Then I can guess your password. I'm not going to ask you that today.
What's your mother's maiden name? What was the first street you grew up on?
Yeah. I cannot. If I click on manage, there it is. Yeah. So I hope today everybody is a bit careful about giving us answers on all the questions. Okay, bridges. I'm good at this. This is a bridge. Doubtful.
I'm good at this.
This is a bridge.
Love the confidence, Eric.
I always think you need to select 3. So, this is a bridge. Yeah, there we are. Okay, family. I have family. Okay, add a child. Okay, so...
Agree. First you need to agree and continue, then you can just put child 1 or something. No, I'm not your child. Leave me alone. I'm way too old for that.
Let me see.
Restriction level, very high. Yeah. If you're gonna put me, very high restriction level.
Yeah, choose device.
But when it comes to to your kids and when they're gaming, we talked about just the evolution of gaming. They're growing up in just a different world, than when I grew up, and so they're getting exposed to a lot more things at a younger age, and so I think even regardless of the parental controls, even just having the antivirus solution there and having these other things there are definitely beneficial to them, because an 8-year-old playing. I've been in these public lobbies. There's some really young kids playing, these games. When they're playing, they don't really know what to look out for. They don't know the signs saying, hey, you got to check the URL. You got to make sure it's a reputable website. You got to check these. They don't know that yet. And so this is just kind of insurance as they're kind of growing up, just to help keep them safe. You don't want them to be exposed to something, as well as keeping your machine safe. You don't want your machine to all of a sudden have 30 viruses on there because they didn't know that they were trying to download Candy Crush from a wrong website, or I think Club Penguin, even I don't know if that's even around anymore.
And what does this do? I mean, you need to install an app on your telephone, and is it then like also blocking, how do you say that in proper English, adult websites, or is it?
There's a lot of different features under the family. Probably a little more than what we have time for. That's a whole other side of it.
Yeah, I cannot.
But you can pretty much customize.
Peter, you need to install something on your phone, then we can continue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's not dodgy at all, Eric. I'm going to trust you.
Yeah.
Here's a link. Please install this.
Yeah.
It's
totally
not software,
safe.
Promise.
It's not going to screw you over at all.
Oh, but I mean, can you monitor where your kid is? I'm asking for a friend.
You mean like GPS tracking?
Yeah, no. Well, my kids. They on the bikes. They go to all the place where I live, and sometimes I'm like, okay, where are you? And I'm not. I don't know if it's allowed. I don't care. I mean, I just want to know where they are. And if I say you call daddy, or let me know where they are, they don't care. They get lost in time and play with their friends.
They're too busy fishing, right?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, they were catching some fish indeed a few weeks ago. Okay. So that's a parental control.
And Mr. Matadog saying Peter would just reinstall the whole system to get around it. Nah, I would just arrange a completely new device, man. I mean, why bother with reinstalling? It takes too long.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this feature as well, indeed. we're going to do some benchmarks. Do you have anything else maybe I forgot to mention? Or I mean, I also see here there are some, if you go to performance, you can also scan your hard drive, right?
Yep. I think I think really what I want to leave with here is just that, look, I think the game optimizer product for me personally is not, the end all be all. It's not the last kind of feature that we're going to have in this product. We're going to do more. There's things that we're pursuing even actively that I'm working on to add to this product offering. I personally, when I thought of game optimizer, I said, all right, you met the minimum bar. You meant just the threshold, which is you do not want to impact performance on these machines. And Game Optimizer allows that and provides additional benefit when there's other things going on in the background. I was like, all right, that's great, but that's not something that, I'm like, hey, we're done here. We cracked the code. Like that's not it whatsoever. And so I think that's just important for all users to understand is when we're going to be launching new features, you're going to get them. It's not going to be necessarily like an add-on where like, hey, we're going to charge you $5 more for this, $5 more for that. No, we're going to add it to the product offering. You're going to get them even if you're an active subscriber. And then also, like I said, dark web monitoring earlier for gamer tags. I think that was the first I've ever seen where someone said, hey, I want to look specifically for gamer tags. And I thought that was always something that people weren't very focused on. They were very focused on email and passwords. And that is really kind of your credentials out there for a lot of the time for a lot of people. But like we talked about, identity is really kind of, becoming your gaming identity. It's a whole separate being of you, on the internet. And so I think it's important not just to look at your business identity or your personal identity when it comes to your bank, but also, where else are you interacting? Where else can you be exposed? Because that is just as important, if not more important to some people, if something were to happen on that side, just as if it were to happen, with their LinkedIn or with their banking.
Yeah, Peter, maybe I see Peter is changing the number of giveaways in the system. Maybe leave one for me, Peter?
No. No, Eric, I think you can afford one. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's probably also correct. Okay, let's do some benchmarks. Ben, I'm not sure because you were saying you had a meeting and don't know how much time you have. If you want, you can stay.
I actually have to drop, unfortunately, but this has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate the time, with you two. This has been great to talk about, the product. And hey, you guys tested Norton for gamers. If you want to send me your highest end PC to test out for you guys, I'm more than happy to do that.
I can imagine that.
So,
you know what I have?
A tester.
Yeah, you know what I have at home? A very old gaming PC. Actually, with a very fast GPU, but I stole one from Peter.
What?
I saw your GPUs. If you want to give me one, I would love the latest and greatest versions.
yeah. That's nowadays is really a topic, with the hardware shortage and the amazing pricing. Actually, the pricing which is too high.
Yeah.
It's all coming down. The prices, but
it started to come down a little bit, but it's going to take a bit more time for it to really get back to
the shortage,
regular
the chip
levels.
shortage in the market will continue at least 1 more year. So we didn't see the end of this, unfortunately.
Anyway, well, and I heard there's an opening for you, Ben, because Eric is looking for a nice subscription to Norton 360. So there might be something for you there.
3090.
all right, Eric. I'll send you a ping on Skype.
Yeah,
we'll talk.
Peter, maybe I can swap your 3090, which I have at home, with Ben.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I would love that. Yeah. That's a fair trade.
Indeed.
All right.
Indeed. Hey, thanks for your time, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
All right, appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Have
Bye-bye.
a nice day. Bye-bye. All right, so
first do another giveaway, Peter?
Yeah, sure, we can do that. And I think you're just going to do some back-to-back.
Maybe you can go to main?
Yeah, you're going to do some, you can take out the earbuds.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so I think you're going to do back-to-back benchmarks now, right?
Do some benchmarks indeed.
Yeah.
So,
because we
maybe do the giveaway.
Yes, exactly.
Another two?
Yeah, two.
Okay, yeah.
Let's do two more. All right, so yeah, you can still participate, guys. If you haven't won yet, don't worry. You still have a chance to win. Today we're giving away the 1-year subscriptions for Norton 360 for gamers. And you go to msi.com/2/insider, as it says there on the right side over Eric's head. Or you can click on the Gleam link that's being shared in the chat for at least on Twitch and YouTube. So we're streaming on multiple platforms. Make sure if you want to participate, you go to either Twitch or YouTube, and there it should be in the chat every 5 minutes. And you just have to participate, do a couple of actions. The more actions you perform, the better your chance of winning. If you're a regular viewer and you participate regularly in our giveaways, you have loyalty points or bonus points to claim as well. You can do this every single stream, so it's not like if you claim them now, then you lose them. You carry them with you every stream, even though you claim them every stream. And then we already have our next two winners, and they are called Catastrophic, with a pretty nice spelling, Catastrophic. Congratulations. And the other winner's nickname is Francisc546. And I mean, don't worry if you happen to miss it or something. We will contact you.
Can you switch back to the capture? Otherwise, yes. I think I'm cheating.
You are. No.
Yeah. But actually, it was quite strange. I just got a score which was higher than without Norton installed. I was like, strange. Anyway.
Well, I mean, to be fair, in the one where you ran the test before, you were still running Windows Defender in the background, right?
No. When Norton's installed, you don't have Defender.
No, but before. So before you install Norton.
True.
Exactly. True. So when you install Norton, obviously it's not going to double up on the security. So it's going to maybe not not turn off all the Windows Defender things, but the things that it's already taken care of, obviously it will uncheck or basically turn off on Windows Defender. You may see if, for example, Norton is able to do some of these processes in a more efficient way, then it should indeed positively impact your performance even compared to Windows.
Ben also said that it's, let me see, the problem with these benchmarks, they're all over.
There's always some variables. So I mean, you never, if you do anything with hardware testing and benchmarking, then you will know that even though you're using the same system, the same settings, still you will have some variables.
Yeah.
Always. That's why most hardware reviewers as well, what they will do is not just do one test, but they will do multiple, like Eric is now also doing. He's doing 3. And then basically, usually what they will do is they'll just take the average out of those 3, for example.
Did you do 3?
Yeah, last time you did 3.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yes. So this one you actually didn't need to do.
No, and it's like the same. So
well, I mean, so your average is around 1650.
Yeah, so I'm running with Norton,
Game Optimizer
360 for gamers, Game Optimizer enabled.
But Eric, question: is the benchmark program, being Cinebench, is that registered or recognized?
Well, we also do Rainbow Six.
Yeah, okay, but just for because I think Ben mentioned that you can choose any application, even if it's Microsoft Excel or something.
No, it's not. You're right. It's not registered. But what I want to see, and now I do it with Game Optimizer disabled. What I want to see is just an antivirus program. How much CPU cycles does it consume? Because this is what I remember from the past. And also Ruud, when I talked with him, they are taking in a lot of memory, they are using a lot of CPU cycle without doing nothing. I mean, for sure they have to do a lot of tasks in the background. They have to, for example, if they have to scan your files, if you install something from a RAR or a zip file, an archive, they have to scan that as well. So there is a lot of things. There are a lot of things going on.
But I mean, for gaming, right? Let's just say, okay, there are multiple scenarios, of course, of usage of your PC, and file unzipping or installing stuff is also part of it. However, you're not going to be doing that, 24 hours a day, zipping, unzipping, downloading stuff. Especially not. I mean, this is more targeted at gamers. No, yeah, but this is more targeted at gamers, right? I mean, updating games, maybe it can impact that a little bit. But once you've updated everything, it should be fine. Obviously, it's going to look into, hey, what are you downloading and those files, or what are you unzipping, and is there anything malicious in there? So yeah, that can be impacted a little bit, but if you're looking at during gameplay, I'm going to predict that it shouldn't, especially on a system like this, where you're not really CPU bottlenecked.
Indeed,
it's probably not going to impact your performance or your experience that much.
If we want to do this benchmark correctly, we should have several systems with different specs, doing a lot of benchmarks. Well, we don't. First of all, it's very difficult to get old hardware for us, because like this, it's now 1 year old. We still have it here, but either we do a giveaway or this is used on an event. Well, nowadays events are not really a topic. So this is 1575. So when we compare the benchmark, so this is the system without, and yeah, I should use Excel to do the average, but you can already see there is not a lot of difference.
The delta is about the same.
Yeah, one score is the same, 1575. One score is close, 1611, 1630.
The other one is a bit lower. But I think on average it's not going to be off by many points.
Yeah, and then with Game Optimizer, basically all are above.
Yeah, a little bit higher.
Yeah,
Also, it's not to a significant degree that you probably would notice it. And also, it's also down to core boosting and thermal behavior, and there's a lot of variables that go into this.
Sure, yeah.
So I would say that it's not. Yes, it's a bit higher. You can't really deny that, but I'm not going to say it's a significant difference that you would be likely to notice it in performance.
No, but that's positive, because in the past it was.
It would negatively impact your performance, indeed. And I think, well, at least in terms of the...
One moment, I see some...
In terms of Cinebench now, I think our conclusion is no, it doesn't really impact. And this is something that does stress the CPU down to 100% pretty much.
At Erik,
on all cores.
It does appear to have helped. Watch what? Oh yeah, indeed, the performance. Yeah. So we're going to run Tom Clancy. I don't like Tom Clancy.
Tom Clancy.
Rainbow Six Siege. Because I'm starting it up. I forgot I started it and I don't see a pop-up. So I almost wanted to click it 2 times.
Yeah, there it is. Somebody mentioned something about the security that comes with games, and by that I don't mean antivirus or something, but it's like a copy security, like de novo or whatever I think it's called. And somebody mentioned as well is that the impact compared to the impact that things like de novo have on on your performance, your game performance, antivirus is peanuts.
I think recently there was a game and they cracked the game and they removed the I don't know how you pronounce it, de novo. Yeah. They removed the copy protection and all the bottlenecks. Was it not?
I don't know.
The zombie game.
I have no idea, but I know I heard it as well, and it's like I get that these companies want to protect their investments, want to protect their IP, which is definitely their right, and apparently they see the need to do it. But yeah, it's very regrettable that it's done sometimes it's done to an extent that it really impacts your performance, which obviously they're not targeting that, but yeah, they're willing to sacrifice your performance sometimes for their security.
For their wallet.
Yeah, for their wallet security, which in the end, I guess it's understandable, because if they don't get any money, then you're not getting any games either, because these companies, they can't exist without revenue.
Again, let's talk a little bit about the settings. They're the same. So we have our 251 RX MAG monitor.
Yeah. The CamLink Pro is our capture device, our capture card.
So the monitor is DisplayPort and the capture is
in the PC that I'm at.
Indeed. It's where Peter is sitting.
Yes.
1080p resolution, 60. So no
same
changes.
Settings as before.
Yeah, same settings as before. Everything at low, and then 25. We talked about this, which basically renders the game at 1080p.
The native resolution.
I'm going to do apply. I almost pushed auto detect. Oh my god, we would have been.
All right, but seeing the 60 hertz refresh rate, I know it's a 360 hertz monitor that Erik has on his table, but for the
FPS are there, you just don't see them.
Exactly, for the purposes of this benchmark, it doesn't matter because it's not going to limit the FPS actually.
No.
So, but yeah, I mean, seeing how big the difference was in between runs before, when you were running the test before without any antivirus running, I'm really curious to see how it will be now.
Actually, I think we're running now without game optimization.
Yeah, okay. So it's still Norton running in the background, but
this would be
game
should be
optimization
the worst case
disabled.
situation.
Yeah.
You realize, Peter, that we're going to see this another 5 times?
Oh, I know. Yes, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. So this is another like 10 minutes from our life, taken from our life.
Yeah. So if you if you guys have any questions, let us know.
Oh,
but
Resident Evil Village. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, it was that game indeed.
I call that zombie game.
Yeah. But I mean, that's like a ridiculous example. Not all games are that bad in terms of their copy
It's
protection.
having problems finding the benchmarks.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we see a performance impact. Let me open the browser. So it is copy this empty to here, and the first run is 159/140/181.
159. You put 158.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's good that we have you here, Peter.
Yeah, sorry. Just want to check that you're not like smuggling any FPS there, Eric. Yeah, 1 FPS less. Yeah, indeed. So it's pretty much 1 FPS less than one of the previous runs. So it's not. I mean, there's no significant.
Well,
impact.
Let's wait until we have all 3.
Yeah, indeed. But I mean, my hypothesis was indeed for this game and this gaming system that Eric is using anyway, is that the CPU is not being stressed to its full load potential, basically. So, knowing that the processors from Norton, if they're doing anything at all in the background, they're going to be using some CPU power or performance. And since the game isn't using all the performance that it has or that's available, this really shouldn't matter in terms of the game performance. And indeed, Mr. Macedox, if it really impacts anything at all, it might be the lows. But even there, I would be surprised, honestly, because I think even with all the settings at low and only doing a 1080p benchmark, I think it's still mostly GPU bottleneck, this game.
No, this is a CPU bottleneck game, this one.
No.
Not on our hardware, but it is.
Yeah, but it depends on your hardware. So indeed, if you were going to use a game like CSGO, you'd be more likely to be CPU bottleneck. But even then, with this i7-10700,
I really hate how to select this.
Yeah, so this is also almost, because there you can see GPU load, it's 100%, so that means it's GPU bottlenecked. That's what's limiting the performance. CPU is like
come on,
easy peasy.
Okay, I just opened it from.
No, Mr. Macedox, I'm not saying I tested I picked the wrong game to test it. I'm just saying that there are, in different games you will get different results, and so in some games you may have a more likely to notice a performance impact.
Whoa, this is a big gap.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Wow.
But so in some games you may have a more of a performance impact, if at all. I'm just saying that in this game, in this specific setting, it's quite easy to explain why probably there is not really a significant impact. And again, we chose this setting because of a couple of reasons. One, Rainbow Six Siege is it has a good benchmarking tool as well. CSGO really doesn't. You have to download third-party maps or something anyway. So it has a built-in benchmark tool. It's still a very popular esports game indeed, and yeah. And thirdly, I mean, we picked this system as well because we wanted to have more typical experience for, a typical gaming experience that you would have And so we could have picked a AAA. We could have done Cyberpunk 2077 if you want, a different game. But that game is for damn sure GPU limited on pretty much any rig.
And Ruud picked this one also because the benchmark doesn't take long. I mean, you have benchmarks which take 5 minutes, and then we're sitting here tonight.
Yeah, and the big gap. I mean, this could be the explanation. Indeed, Mr. Masdoc saying big gap is likely caused because the second run, a lot of things are already in the cache.
Indeed.
That could very much be the case.
But you know what? Now the problem is, Peter, without Excel and making averages. Oh my God. you are
Quick
the average
maths.
guy, right? You do the averages today.
Hell no.
Take out your phone.
Yeah, I can do that. If you want.
After you install the monitoring software. Then I don't have to ask you, I can see from my own device what you're using. Okay.
Wait, I can maybe do it on this laptop here. If it's really necessary, I can calculate the average for you.
Okay, so it's 183/166. Actually, it already says 1 FPS down on the lowest minimum FPS and 2 FPS up.
Yeah, but I'm just going to do the averages.
So I'm going to you saw that it somehow the benchmarks destroys the interface a little bit. I'm not sure if that's a bug, but we noticed that this Rainbow Six Siege is having quite funny behaviors with resolutions. It's, I don't know. Then also why we render on 25%, which 1080p, but still in the results somewhere we saw it's
at the bottom, I think there. If you scroll down a bit, there, more. Near the monitor, it says the resolution is 4K, which is really weird because I mean the monitor that Eric is using is definitely not 4K.
Nope.
It's 1080p.
No,
the only thing that could do 4K is our capture card. So
but
perhaps
no. I don't have. I have the 1080p cable in it.
So it doesn't matter. I mean, maybe it's detecting that the max resolution for the Camlink Pro is 1080p or is 4K. Anyway,
that's why I closed this. Opened it. Anyway, now I'm going to enable this, and where we have, where was it? So Rainbow Six Siege, it's enabled. So we're going to do another benchmark. Maybe leave this open. Should I start the software again?
Just to be sure, I would do that because I have no idea if it will.
That was not nice for the software, right?
Did we not have that visual? Don't try this at home. Don't do what Eric does.
That's your job. You probably have it somewhere.
No,
you can still add it in.
I don't see it.
In the maybe check.
No.
Okay.
No.
The directory.
No.
Yeah, we asked our designer maybe make one visual. Don't try this at home.
Yeah.
Because we also wanted to test, antivirus software and malware. So why not test it? But getting some live samples of viruses were not really. I mean, our ICT guys who manage the network, they were not really keen on it. They were not really happy that we're going to do that. So we found some. I bookmarked them here.
You don't know, right? It maybe just infects the system, but it could be that it just fans out and spreads out across the whole network. So they were like, "You're gonna do what?"
Yeah, actually we found some websites like wecar.org and this is.
There are some websites that can simulate, like make your antivirus program think that it's there's an attack or something like that.
Now again, I think I clicked it, but I'm not sure, and it's not showing.
You don't have patience.
Oh, absolutely. Checkbox yes. I don't have yes.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have patience.
Yeah. Do you think should I click it again?
No. Just wait.
No. I think I need to click it again. I'm going to click it again, Peter. Yeah. I mean, it should show. That's why I hate Rainbow Six Siege. I mean, just put on something like, yes, you started me.
I think I think it takes that long because first it needs to run the there you go. Yeah.
Maybe I didn't close it properly.
Yeah. First it needs to launch the launcher, the Ubisoft Connect application, and then it needs to go through the whole process.
Me because I gave him my Alt F4.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, synchronizing with cloud and stuff.
There you go. That's Ubisoft for you.
Yeah. So also these benchmarks are not 100% correct because I have a browser open and I guess in the first benchmarks we didn't have the browser open, so it takes memory. Doesn't matter. You can get a free 90 days trials at the MSI website. Later I will show you the URL again. This is so strange, this program.
No,
actually, here is the...
It takes a while.
Oh, okay, we go to the game apparently. Now I'm going to close this tab because there is a YouTube movie and maybe it takes too much resources. That would not be honest. Shift F2, Alt F4, sounds the same. Okay, so...
Not quite the same.
Going to close this one.
Yeah.
Okay, we enabled Game Optimizer. So this should give the best results. Going to check...
well, you say that, but I don't know if... I mean, it would be interesting to see indeed. Because indeed, what Ben mentioned is that it doesn't... it's not as much, trying to limit the impact of the software, of the antivirus on your system. But it also tries to optimize all the processes and the allocation of resources to favor the game application.
Yeah, so Ruud already did some benchmarks on more applications. I will show you later. And he didn't notice a lot of the benefits. But that was also positive because as he said, I also don't notice a lot about having the Norton
there's
installed.
no performance impact.
Yeah. Indeed, so that's positive. But like Ben told us, it's about the things you do in the background. And, at home sometimes I'm playing with YouTube in the background, listening to some music during the gameplay. You have Discord or, some people are still using Teams.
What, Teams?
Yeah.
Teams,
TeamSpeak.
I was going to say Teams?
No, not Teams, TeamSpeak.
You heard it here first, guys. Teams for gamers. Yeah.
I think TeamSpeak is
TeamSpeak, of course.
Dying,
it's still being used a lot, I think. But you also used to have what was it called? Mumble.
Don't know that one.
And there were a lot of those things. I even remember a really old program. It was called Roger Wilco. I used to use that one.
Sounds like ICQ.
No, I think it was prior to ICQ actually.
Oh.
So it was that old, but with my dial-up connection. Oh man.
Okay.
Anyway.
So, going 184.
All right, that's nice as a start.
Latest one. So it's 184 slash. Oh. Yeah.
168.
That's very good.
Yeah.
/206. So
good start. Good start.
Yeah, it improved on all.
It's about the same as the last run we had with Game Optimizer disabled. But let's do 3 more.
2 more.
Oh, sorry, 2 more. Yeah, and see how it goes. Because I mean, even in the prior test we saw some variables, from benchmark
and actually,
to benchmark.
this is also not honest because we're opening more tabs, which probably are using more.
I don't know if the game is using that much, RAM memory
tabs,
either.
Okay. Doesn't matter. We're amateurs.
But then again, you can close the tabs, right? Why keep them open?
Yeah, I can if I want to, but that would not be honest.
Oh yeah, Ventrilo. Yeah, sorry. The FRZ Eagle is also saying Ventrilo was the old one. Is it that old? I remember using that not that long, like a couple of years ago actually.
Never.
But maybe that's just because some of the people I played games with are also like old dudes, and they kind of kept to
dinos.
That. Yeah, like dinosaurs. Anyway.
What about doing another giveaway?
It would be the last one then. So you want to save it or you want to do it now?
Show me.
Currently we have 8 winners today.
Oh, we can do 2 more, right?
Yeah, that's why I said. So if we're going to do 2 winners.
We can do 1 now and then
one
right. When we say bye-bye.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
So guys, you can still win. We're going to do 2 more.
I put my hands up so you see I'm not cheating. Whatever the end result will be.
So I'm going to draw the winners. We're going to keep an eye on Eric. There we go. I'm going to switch back.
Don't do that because I have to fill in the numbers.
I don't trust him. All right.
Oh, you really switched.
What? Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, so this is unfortunate. Yeah, this person.
I want to do creative bookkeeping.
This person doesn't have a nickname, so I can't call them out.
182, 168, and 204.
Right, wait,
somebody...
also let me put that in the system here. So I'm gonna calculate the averages when Eric is done.
182.
Blink 182.
So
what?
4, and if I open one, oh yeah, it adds one. 182, 168, 204. Yeah.
Okay, so we have our semi-last winner. So after this, one more, and his or her name is Misfit. So Misfit, congratulations! You also win a year-long subscription to Norton 360 for gamers, as shown in the stream today. So after this, these few benchmarks, we're going to give away one more subscription.
Maybe we can reserve that for me?
Nope.
Okay, then I have to sacrifice your 3090.
No, that's fine, Eric. That's fine. I've
fine.
locked them all away in my safe space closet somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see some people also talking about, Norton was my favorite antivirus a long time ago until it became too heavy. Yeah, but I mean, so the question is, a lot of things changed since then, right? So, of course, obviously, Norton has taken note of, all right, people think it's too heavy, so they try to make it lighter. But also, in the time that's passed, if this is a couple of years ago or many years ago, in my case, for example, then, I mean, the hardware has also gotten extensively more capable, and so it's less likely to have any kind of impact than, I don't know, 10 years ago, because then you had your hardware was way more limited and the resources. So yeah, there was if anything was using something in the background, you were much more likely to notice something about it.
So
all right, Eric. So that's the last one.
Yeah.
182.
It seems Janice missed the live stream, missed the message of the live stream.
All right. Okay, cool. So I don't know if caching factors into this, Eric, because I mean the first benchmarking run that you did with the game optimization disabled was noticeably lower. Yeah. Other than that, it just seems very consistent.
Not compared to the one without.
Yeah. So that's really strange. So for some reason, and this could be the difference that Game Optimizer is making.
It's more consistent for sure.
Yeah,
it looks like like I made a typo somewhere.
Yeah, but we saw it. So because the average on the 360 for gamers enabled, but with Game Optimizer disabled, it was 140. No, am I saying this right?
That's impossible.
No, exactly. What? No, I must have made a mistake there. Anyway, okay, so let's start with the Game Optimizer enabled first. That was 182.7.
I believe you. Okay.
And then for the other one, I'm gonna do that calculation again.
Yeah, that should be 171 or something.
Okay, I actually mashed some numbers up. 174.7.
174.7.
And the top one, I mean that will probably be similar, but let me run the numbers quickly. 160, 182.
Should be very similar.
And 182. It's actually the same.
Oh, it's the same.
Yeah,
okay.
It's the exact same actually.
So this is pretty interesting. I mean, we're looking at FPS, and it's so without Norton installed, but with what is it called?
Defender.
Microsoft Defender.
Yeah.
Installed, active. Let's say like that. It's 174.7. The same as with Norton installed without Game Optimizer, and then with Game Optimizer, actually you get like a decent 8 frames extra.
Yeah, well, I mean, Master Docs is also saying I'm also tempted to kind of ignore the first result because it seems off, and especially because the second and third result usually are very similar and very consistent.
Yeah.
But then, even if you do that, then at
your
worst,
first game.
Yeah, but even if at worst, there is no impact, no measurable impact, let's say. The performance stays consistent. So having Norton running in the background, either with Game Optimizer enabled or disabled, does not impact your performance. If we look at these numbers.
Yeah. Okay. So if you look at these numbers, so these are the benchmarks which Ruud did. And again, Ruud did one. Let me make it full screen. Ruud, yeah, this is readable. Okay. Yeah, it should be okay.
I think so.
Yeah. Ruud did one thing. He put the power config to high performance, and this is also an option in.
I think you did that in.
Yeah. So this is also an option in Norton Game Optimizer, and putting in the high performance mode, the power config, it can give you in certain situations more performance. So this is why, Ruud's results are also not to be really trusted. So that's why we did it live.
Yeah, there's another variable there that comes into play. So.
But anyway, he did Cinebench, multi-threaded, CSGO 1080p, Rainbow Six 1080p, Exodus 1080p with RTX Ultra normal, and then this Tomb Raider, but which one? Shadow of the Tomb Raider, yeah, indeed, 1080p. So you see with no Norton installed and with Norton Optimizer, it's 0.5% performance difference. Yeah. And without, it's 0.1 performance difference. So
on average, yeah. Even if you take the best and the worst case scenarios, there's a difference of, at worst, 1.4%.
1.5.
No, that's negative. So the negative difference at worst is 1.4%.
Oh, you're right.
Or 1.2.
Yeah.
And at best, it actually gives more than 2.5%. But honestly, I think this pretty much falls within margin of error. So I think in even if you include those outliers, then you're still pretty much talking about no significant measurable impact. Either way.
These benchmarks were performed on an AMD machine. The specs are below.
They're actually, I'm blocking them, but
me too. Oh no, not me. Anyway, so a different machine, not this one.
There we go. Yeah. That's the full config if you.
This is good. If you ask him to do benchmarks, you always get all the small details with it.
Yeah.
I think even the BIOS is listed, not? Yeah, BIOS 1.7.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously when Ruud does something like this, he's thorough about it because he knows how to do this properly.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, okay. So anyway, try it yourself.
Yeah,
I think that is.
Yeah, you can maybe still show again where you can, because you're about to do that when we started the second.
Through that
benchmarking run.
So yeah, you go to msi.com. Side down, infected by a virus.
DDoS.
Yeah. No, really, Peter.
It takes a while. There you go.
Okay. What's new? Showcase area, and there you have it. And then the instructions are at the bottom.
Yeah, but you can just click the button there at the top as well. Activate your account, blah blah. But you can just click the button at the top of the page as well. Start your trial, and then it will take you through the process as well.
To be honest, I don't know how. I mean, if this trial will, if you need to put in your credit card, I had a code and I didn't have to do. But make sure if you don't like the software. To how do you say that? Cancel it on time. That you're not committed to anything. To be honest, I don't know. I didn't have to do that, but I didn't follow this procedure. I just got a key, which I need to register to my email address.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to be safe. Anyway, that's it. I think for this week.
Exactly. Then
next week back to hardware, Peter.
Yeah. My stream next week. Yeah, because obviously there's a new GPU. Yeah, you're on holiday, so you will not be joining. So no graphics card for you to touch or take apart.
Not only that, decent subtitles on YouTube.
I can't guarantee that. Oh, because maybe I'll talk in a weird accent. Screw with Google that way. Anyway, but yeah, no. Next week we're going to be looking at the RX 6600 XT, so AMD's new. Mid-range GPU that was announced, was it last week? Yeah, I think end of last week, Friday. Yeah, indeed. And so next week we can actually look at performance. I can do a live benchmark for you and really neat stuff like that. So if you want to know more about that GPU and are interested in it, then and I'm kind of getting into the AMD messaging there, but. It's supposedly seriously OP for 1080p, this card. So it's like, it's targeted for 1080p high refresh rate. So it's pretty much the monitor that Eric was using this stream. 1080p, 360 hertz. That's, I guess, kind of the...
And if you want
target.
to see some certain benchmarks next week, I mean, for us it always takes time to prepare. Just leave them in the comments below this video or live stream, you know, then maybe Peter has time to prepare. We don't have all the software, we don't have all the hardware. I don't know if Peter already prepared something.
But I'm in process of preparing
Okay.
stuff.
So just, you know, if you want to see something specific, just let us know.
Yeah.
We do another giveaway, Peter?
Yeah, I promised, and indeed, Mr. Macedox
Erik
wasn't
van
going to let it go.
coincidence.
No, not Evan Burden.
Well,
He was disqualified. Don't worry about it, guys. Actually, the last winner for today, his name is Action Brother.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's the guy. Anyway,
enjoy
congrats.
your 1 year subscription.
Yep. We're gonna get it out to you. We also saw some questions in the chat of people saying, I won, my name was called. How do I redeem my prize? Don't worry, we will contact you in the coming days, and we will make sure to get the code to you. Just keep an eye on your emails, I would say. Maybe it's possible
your spam folder.
Exactly, it ends up in your spam folder. So also keep an eye on that one.
And we will not send you any attachments or links.
No. Exactly. Yeah. Just the code and perhaps some instructions on how to redeem if that applies, or any kind of limitations, like for example the expiration date. We're going to dive into that for you guys. If there is any, we'll let you know in the email. Anyway, thank you guys for joining. And
stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe. Stay protected. Not just your PC, but also yourselves, obviously. And hope to see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Appreciate it.